All right, we are, well, I'll say back, but we're in a new location for the Autonomous Humanity podcast with our best ever guest. Honestly, not even close, best ever guest. So we have my mom, Jyl Andrews, and my father, Jeff Andrews. And for some reason, Jim wanted to tag along for this one as well. But what I wanted to do was just kind of honor you guys, pay tribute, and I know what have you done that's worthy of us being honored? Or
the maid just came. The floor was really clean before now.
Are you saying through this setup?
No, I'm saying through all the bullshit you're spilling right now.
Well, it's ankle deep in here.
It's starting to smell too. Yeah.
I want to make it known right now, I am doing this under protest. So.
Yeah, no one's being held at gunpoint here, folks. But kidding aside, I thought it would be great to share some of your guys' stories. I mean, not that you guys are ever going to like get old and die and not be able to share these stories, but I think it would be nice, especially just starting ladies first, not because you're older than Dad. So chronologically speaking, can we start off with
the older?
Starting out with the most beautiful. Where were you born? And talk a little bit about like your earliest memories. So your mom, your dad, and like the situation you were born into, where you were born into, just your origin.
My origin. I was born in Parma, Ohio. Lived in Parma for 2 years.
I'm going to interrupt. You now have to go back through all of your online accounts and change your security questions because now people are going to know, where was I born? Parma, Ohio.
Yeah, Mom, what's your maiden name? What's the last four of your social security number? And really quick, pardon, you will hear dog bone gnawing and then potentially dog barking, but this is reality, folks.
But that's just a habit Jake can't seem to quit. So
Gnawing on bones, my favorite pastime.
So, earliest memories. Wow.
So,
I've often said, being from a divorced family, and I've talked to other people my age that come from divorce, it's hard to remember anything pre-divorce.
So let me ask you this way then. So your mom and dad, what was their situation? And name them before you came into the picture, because you're the oldest of your siblings, really just one that you don't really talk to, but then you also have another sister, technically stepsister. So maybe you can talk about
often said the greatest gift that I've ever gotten from anybody was from my mom and my stepdad. I got a sister that best thing happened.
And so but talk a little bit about Grandma and PJ. So PJ being Papa Jim.
Right.
Not the schmuck.
he just looks like your grandpa.
He just looked like a Papa Jim.
I was like,
now
who called me? Who called me?
So my dad, he comes from a family that were all German. Up to my dad, everybody was 100% German. And then he marries my mom and we become mutts. But my mom is also, I'm like 3/4 German, Bohemian, and Hungarian.
And how much Jewish?
This much Jewish. And sometimes that comes out a lot more than anything else.
No, sticks out far, huh?
I see a penny.
Oh, where? But my dad was basically a hooligan. You know, what he could do to get into trouble around Strongsville, Ohio.
Is that what you called women trouble?
No, he would set roads on fires to see the volunteer firemen to come and catch those. But he was also loved his horses, did barrel racing, was called by one of the government or city. They had some wild Mustangs. He's actually had a picture in the Plain Dealer with him rounding up wild horses that were still roaming at that time. And you don't think about like the 1960s that there would be
Wild horses.
Wild horses just roaming.
And in a lot of places, kind of a nuisance, right? That they would be damaging to nearby, like, farmers and...
I don't know that was a nuisance as much as a hazard, maybe? Because the roads are starting to get traveled more. There's a story, part of my dad being a hooligan, is that they were drinking one night, and they were driving along. Uncle Mel had to open the car door to help not feel so sick. They turned a corner. Uncle Mel's still on the corner, and they're up, Bob the Big Boy up in Brunswick before they realized that
Mel had fallen out of the car.
Mel had fallen out of the car.
And so this is your uncle, Mel, right?
Uncle Mel.
Yep.
The only one of the brothers left.
And so we also, just to that point, had Uncle Howard, PJ's, was that oldest brother?
Yeah.
Yep.
PJ was middle.
Okay. And he just passed away. And do we
September.
remember but what part of Germany that he was living in?
Dortmund.
Yeah. And my last memory with him was, I think he came by back in 2008 when it would have been 2010, 2011, because I was in 8th grade. And I remember he took us down to North Point Mall, or went down to North Point Mall with us. We went into the bookstore. He was like, you could pick out any book that you want. And I found the nicest Bible, because the Bible thumper I am, right? And it has actually made use in Florida.
What was his favorite book, and what book did he get?
I don't know. That's a great question. But really quick, he did write, because I forget the exact count, but it was at least 17 different languages, self-taught. He was still in the middle of teaching himself more languages. I mean, definitely like a recluse. His whole flat back in Germany, from the last photos I saw, were just towers of books.
Well, the story I was told, he moved to Germany in 1966. He went there for...
So 2 years before you were born.
Yes.
20 years before.
He went there for Jehovah's Witness and UFOs.
So craziness runs in the family, folks.
Yes. So he went there for those two things. But,
Wait a minute. Elaborate on that. What do you mean Jehovah's Witness and UFOs?
He was really fascinated by UFOs. And at that time, a lot of UFO sightings were over there.
Project Blue Book.
This is, what year are we talking here again?
66.
66.
And then he also got into Jehovah through, I think, one of my uncles.
And yeah, the what I was getting at with the Bible, I remember he, in some like ancient version of Germanic, wrote a nice message to me. That's like basically a dead version of the German language now. But
okay, but he was fascinated by the book Everybody Poops.
Okay, yeah.
He thought that book was so funny. He
I
bought
still
himself
think about that book quite a bit.
And he actually bought himself a copy to go home with him, because he had saw it here on your guys' bookshelves, because I think he was staying in your room at the time, and thought it was the funniest book. He couldn't get over that book.
I mean, it's true, yeah. And maybe that's something that we can get back into a little bit later. That just one of the things I feel most fortunate about with you guys, and I've said this before to you guys, but, let's share it with the public. I really think that you guys, if not more, did 95% or I guess more parenting right. And I think probably the best aspect of parenting...
It's up to an inch now.
But no, I really think I was talking with you about this last night. One of the interns that works with us asking, like, why is language arts so important? Or, not seeing the importance in language arts. It's like in reading and writing. And it really is becoming more and more of a lost art. We'd like to think we're in the year 2026 now. Literacy is just a basic skill, but it really is not. It's just, kind of swept under the rug. And obviously you were really big on like the calligraphy and handwriting, but, both of you were big into...
Calligraphy actually was your great-grandfather, Neuberger. He was known around town, and people would come and hire him to do calligraphy. And I think it was more wood-burning calligraphy for the horse stables. for the name of the horses and stuff.
Really?
The only nice story I know about him.
And so you got handwriting from him, or was that really through your grandma?
That's through your grandmother. Yeah. That's through my mom.
And so I guess going back to giving more context about her, talked about PJ and some of his side of the family a little bit. She was an only child, right?
An only child. She
Right.
was an only child of like a whole family.
And what's her name?
Joelle.
Joelle, and then Jyl. And how did that name come to be? Do you know why they chose Jyl and why specifically JYL?
Because it was going to be Joy.
Really, it was gonna be. You checking out already, Jim?
No, I'm checking in, buddy.
It was going to be Joy. And it was originally
Pal.
spelled the Jill. And then my mom knew someone that was in bookkeeping or whatever, did all that stuff, and she called and changed it to JYL. Because when she went to school, a Y between two consonants had the sound of an I, and she liked the spelling.
I think it is really a great spelling, and I think there's only been the one time we've ever seen another Jyl, right? That Jill Craven hair studio,
Yeah,
up in Canton.
Yes.
Canton.
Canton.
I've never known anybody that spells it JYL.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I
that's
take
one of
no
the-
credit for it.
One time in the UK, there was a girl from Ireland, and she spelled it GYL.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Gil.
my mom was an only child. Her mother and father, and they were old. They were 30 and 40 at the time when they had her. My mom was born at 2 pounds 9 ounces.
Wow. So I know she was born premature. Like she was born at like 6 months, right? And
She was due in July and born May 24th
wow, that is crazy.
at 2 pounds 9 ounces.
Especially back then.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also the age I didn't realize. So
My
grandma's mom, and I don't even know her name.
Jane,
Jane.
another J.
Yeah. And then her dad,
Edward.
Edward. And so he was 40 and she was 30.
Yes.
Okay.
And then my grandmother did not know that my grandfather had another child from a previous marriage. I think actually born on the same day, May 24th.
Dun dun dun.
Years earlier, that had also died.
Wow. So, yeah, wasn't an only child and became only.
Well, of my grandparents, the
Right.
only child. And then my aunt had a sister, Betty. We called her Auntie B.
Yep.
But her name was Betty. Everybody wanted to call her Elizabeth or whatever. She was a force to be reckoned with. Can't count how many husbands, boyfriends, whatever, sugar daddies.
Nice. Getting around.
She was a very smart lady. She was a vice president of a dealership. One of the great things, I remember her is wrapping presents. As kids, we would get these big boxes. We would get a doll. We'd get a collector plate. We'd get a new snowsuit, a party dress. Everything was in this big old box from Higbee's.
I don't know Higbee's.
Higbee's, watch the movie,
The Christmas Story.
The Christmas Story.
Okay, yeah.
It's
yeah.
Higbee's in downtown Cleveland.
Okay, yeah, the Santa Mall.
Yeah.
Yeah. or the
And
Santa
there's
store.
another interesting story about Higbee's. I was 16, got my tonsils out. I hemorrhaged. My doctor was down at Higbee's in the basement after Christmas because I got my tonsils out the day after Christmas. They called him on emergency to come back for me, and there was some kind of collapse down there. I saved my doctor's life,
Wow.
or
Well,
potentially
yeah.
saved his life.
No, you saved his life. You come on.
Yeah, we'll just say I saved his life.
I saved his life. He was going to die without me.
So, Auntie B, great. I think Uncle Luke, which you would have never met, he passed prior.
He was the one with the skinny fingers that.
Oh, yeah.
That maybe I can fit in some of his rings and even some of his rings.
Oh, yeah. He
skinny
was
fingers
a
don't fit in.
haberdasher.
Just
Uncle
for the
Luke.
viewers, because I definitely know what a haberdasher is. You want to fill in the viewers?
I'll let my husband fill in what a haberdasher is because I think when he retires, he might become a haberdasher.
Just a person who deals in gentleman's fashion.
Men's clothing.
Men's clothing and stuff. So, but he was a haberdasher, also a thief. He loved
Nice.
It's just,
Haberdashery.
A guy who runs Haber, you know.
but he was I think more of a klepto than a thief. ATB had a lot of fine things. Being a haberdasher, we always just called him the Uncle Gigolo because
What do you mean?
he was a kept man.
A klepto?
He would just end up with items that weren't his, but
So,
It's like you with lighters.
oh yeah.
You know, things would magically
Inside
find a way. The Swarovski crystals, they would find his way in his pockets and that kind of thing. And
now, really quick, you mentioned Christmas Story, which, I was hoping that we could do this maybe by the end of this last year, but you guys went to go visit Josh, for Christmas.
Our favorite son.
Yeah,
Our favorite
usually
son.
not a contest.
our easier son.
Yeah.
Not the PETA that some people are.
And PETA does not stand for bread. What does PETA stand for?
Pain in the ass.
And then I'll give my favorite names for you guys. Mom is MOM, right?
Yes.
Made of money. And then Bank of Dad, open 24/7. They are great investors. If you are also wanting to build a drone company from the ground up to compete with the big, multi-billion-dollar giant in China, look no further for great investors.
There's no room at the inn.
The other.
Oh, so you're not looking for more more startup
opportunities?
ideas?
No. So that's Auntie B.
I'm putting him up for adoption.
Auntie B never had any children. So my great-grandparents, they lived in Middleburg Heights. My great-grandfather had 32 patents. One of them I know was ice skate sharpener. And the other one that I know is the peanut shells. The skin on the peanuts.
Yep.
He invented the machine to take.
Are we sure George Washington Carver didn't invent that too? He did.
I know he was from Cleveland, but
What was he? I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Okay. Wow.
So, there's some intelligence. And my great grandmother, Mentor on the Lake, I think, was one of the first commissioners.
Yeah.
Women commissioners. So, I had some trailblazers of strong women in my life.
Strong, independent woman. I guess that is actually a pretty good segue. Another way that they're not just financial supporters. Obviously you do a lot there, but my mom is honestly the best mom in the world. It's not even close. I had a day where I was doing some
It's up to 2 inches.
some troubleshooting and drone repair in the office, and I needed to get some maintenance work on the Subaru. And if this isn't what a real woman looks like, then I don't know what does.
Can you fucking believe this guy?
Look at that. Getting mansplained how to change a brake rotor and all, or a brake pad. But
I just think it's great to be able to learn something new every day if you can learn something new. I'm a little ADHD. I can't sit still. I'm like, even starting this, I'm like, Jake, we got to sit there for 4 hours. I can't get up and walk around, move around. Can I grab my crochet?
you will not go anywhere.
Can I grab my crochet? But no, independent workers, I've learned a lot. I come, like you said earlier, I have a sister, blood sister that I do not talk to, and happy in my life that I don't. Then I have the greatest gift that was ever given to me from my mom and my stepdad, which I hate calling him a stepdad, but it's hard to-
Technically, yeah,
Yeah.
literally speaking.
he
Wait,
was
they didn't introduce me to you.
no.
No, it's greatest gift from her mom and stepdad, because if it was just greatest gift, I am sitting right here.
No, my greatest gift is Jennifer. I'm sorry. But My stepdad.
I think we're
was
done here,
More more of a dad than my dad, and out of all my parents, I have some great parents. Even Nonnie, I considered as a mom.
They're no you guys, but 3 inches.
But they
Glad we get the high stops. High top stories.
Jyl was a dad in all intents and purposes. Loved me for me. Didn't have to love me. And chose to love me as one of his own children.
And you make it hard.
Yeah, and you never were forced to eat a hot dog all in one bite, before
No. But you know what? Discipline is missing in today's world. I mean,
Clearly, you end up with, riff-raff
No,
punks
I
like
mean-
me. No.
Johnny,
I got a can of green
whatever.
beans.
We will get to that. Yeah, that's it.
But I firmly believe there needs to be more discipline with children, and parents need to take action.
You never got advice from a cop of how to, hit me without leaving marks, did you?
Never. Some great.
Hypothetically, as you
Yeah.
could say, that never happened.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hypothetically, I was not chased around the neighborhood.
Which is now, what's his face's favorite word? Hypothetical.
Oh, Arturo. Yeah,
Arturo.
One of the recent podcast guests.
He
and
came here
great
and learned the
now
word
family friend.
hypothetically, and one of his new
We
favorite
live
words.
in the best country where you do not have to self-incriminate yourself, and I take
So-
advantage of it.
Jyl, great man. He believed in honesty and being upright and,
And Natty Light.
and natty light. Boy, did he like his natty light. But I learned a lot. A lot of my parenting, I think, comes from him.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been open with you kids, probably more than I should on some things, what have you.
Like coming into Georgia. We'll get to that.
No, we won't. And then
Ruining
know,
South Dock.
he was just always open. If we had questions about sex, we had questions about drugs. They were
How do you
answered
sniff this
forthright.
properly?
No, it was always answered forthright and stuff. And it made us not into sneaks, and that took a lot of the thrill out of it.
So you weren't as inclined to do it. 'Cause
Right.
You were, yeah.
Already able to. It wasn't
Yeah,
like,
it's
let
not
me
like
revolt
a-
and let me show my parents, how much I can
Like,
rebel against them.
I
Yeah.
wondered what it was like to smoke pot and get high. He goes, "Can you find a joint?" And I'm like, "Yeah, certainly." And when they were $1 a joint, but
In the back of your medicine closet.
Hey, my joints are free when you get them for Christmas.
I think the first time, I mean, I had
What's that
smoked it
commercial?
prior.
I'm watching you, Dad.
I smoked it prior to that, but had never gotten high. So the first time I think I ever got high was in our driveway, watching the stars, which he was very, there was going to be an eclipse or something fantastic happening. We would get out the moving pads, sit in our driveway and look at that. I mean, he was a great father. I think out of the three of us, got the best version of Jyl. Jen got kind of put in a hard place between three parents that wanted to take control of her life and
All had different
what-
ideas of.
right, and Jen got the raw end of the deal. I think for the most part, I got the best.
Now, given you are also kind of almost like a mother sort of figure to some degree with Aunt Jen, because you're, 10, 11 years old?
I'm only
Jay.
9.
Yeah.
I was more of a mother figure to Jay because when my parents got divorced when I was 8, they both went and sold the White Oats, and I raised Jay and myself. I got us ready for school. You've heard this story. It was picture day at school, and when I was young, I wasn't at a school more than 1.5 years, maybe 2 if I was lucky. So I always, picture day, what have you. I missed the school bus. Or we missed the school bus. I called the school. Yes, there was phone books. I called the school.
7 digits or 10?
Just 7 digits.
Yeah.
And I just called up there and said, hey, we missed the school bus. You need to send the school bus back around. They're like, well, where's your parents? I'm like, well, Mom's at work. My neighbor's, he worked night shift. He wasn't home yet. And finally, he came home, and I running over there, got him, and he took us to school. But in the meantime, the principal came to the house to pick us up because she had never in her whole career had someone call and say, hey,
can you get me to school?
Come and pick me up and take me to school. Unlike someone that'd be like, woohoo, I missed the bus. I'm not going to school today.
Yes, I got another one over my mom and the
And her
system.
fascination with having her picture taken has not stopped, let me tell you.
No.
Nope.
When you have a beautiful face.
Yeah. Age is happening, but it is that.
Yeah, I mean, but for 38, not too bad, Mom.
Not too bad. So
Had me at 10, though. That's
but
wild.
We did move around a lot. I mean, when I was younger, it was crazy.
Well, I do want to, unless there's something else that you want to touch on.
Joel, I really didn't touch on my mom too much.
Yeah.
So my mom, only child
Yeah.
of the whole family. Great ice skater. She definitely rebelled later when she did get divorced because she had always had someone hovering over her. Like, she wasn't allowed to get married till she was 21. She had to be a virgin to get married. All this stuff that she believed in her family. They had dinners every Sunday because my grandparents lived in like Middleburg Heights, Parma, and my mom did live in Cleveland. So there was a lot that they went through. She went through. She was overly hovered,
Yep.
overly watched, but overly spoiled. She definitely was probably more a silver spoon, you think?
Yeah, I mean, she was, one always, prim and proper. I mean, even with us, like, growing up, I remember, like, we kind of made fun of it one year. We got, like, an etiquette book for Christmas. It was, like, just what we wanted, as young kids.
But then some
That
of that
really
stuff
went a long way, didn't it?
Yeah, but some of that stuff I look back on,
And
like...
it's honestly great. It's like, oh, my God, what shitty little fucks we were, right?
But, like, when you go to a wedding, what is the protocol if you're giving cash and not a present?
Yeah.
You're supposed to make sure you at least cover your meal where you're at.
Yeah, but
For both of you.
they're boys. They ain't gonna follow that shit. I don't follow that shit. We don't follow that kind
Well,
of shit.
because you're oblivious of that
men.
stuff. Because I take it. Yeah. House of testosterone. But what is the saying?
Well,
now there's a Haraka.
two. You are queen bitch, right?
Definitely.
And then
Which she used to be in my phone for, like, a decade or more, maybe, and it just,
It kind of hurts my feelings that I'm still not, but okay.
mine.
Blame my phone. I got a new phone, and it didn't switch over.
So when she would call you, you would look at your phone
It's
and you
queen
would,
bitch, yeah. People would see. I was like, it's my mom. She is the queen. I need a princess.
I mean, I don't know what you're going to. I mean,
well-
I say I have 2 kids, and my wife's a single mother of 3.
But even being the only woman is the one I was going with.
Yeah, and she still outnumbers us.
Oh yeah. You know, she's still that's for damn sure.
But now she has Haraka, who is her other little estrogen partner.
Oh, and she's a bitch, let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, and then Digby takes after me. Will literally just go sit on Haraka, in a
And
chair.
he, whiny little shit. But
Oldest puppy too, not spastic like me whatsoever, but beyond the point. And before I totally forget and we get too far past it, you obviously love Christmas Story, wanted to do this more around Christmas time. We still have the village up, this would typically be put away by now, and this is just a small version
Probably
of
a
it.
third.
Yeah, a third of it. I mean, we could cover up this whole podcast space and then probably that.
and the dining room table.
and the village is sitting on the crate, the dog crate that Jyl made, right?
Yeah,
With
You're
their
talking
neighbor
about
Larry.
you're talking about learning new things. We can't get that in the shot.
No,
can
that's
we?
on the shot.
It's on the shot. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty wild.
It's the doggy condo, and yeah,
And
they'll.
if Jake ever goes in the doghouse, he could fit on top and take it. He could sleep there too.
I have fallen asleep there when there's no village, but that's one of my better sleeping spots. You know, sleeping on stairs and wherever.
Child could sleep anywhere. But
Out of 300,000 sperm, he swims the fastest.
No, I was just the one to persevere and break through them walls. You know, all the other ones may have gotten there first, but I'm the most persistent.
Grandma. How do you say her name?
Grandma or no?
You would, even as a young kid,
Yeah.
Grandma.
Yeah.
It would always come out so deep. And then he would sing the song. We're talking Christmas. Grandma got ran over by a reindeer.
Grandma got ran over by a reindeer.
She did. She hated that. But she
I
did.
would egg them on too. I would egg the boys on.
You know, it's funny. I
But
was
it was
thinking
great.
haberdasher. I was thinking, you know,
Christmas time, you know, when the grandparents would all come down here, and that would be
really magical. I mean, that was amazing for us looking
My
back
mom.
as kids.
Joel, my dad.
Yeah, that whole just them coming down together.
The three of them.
That's what I was gonna. I have to tell this story.
Okay.
Because listen, I, as a more grown, evolved human being, I'll say it that way. I mean, I look back and I regret how mean to your mother I was. I could have been a heck of a lot nicer to her.
You were an ass sometimes, yeah.
It wasn't sometimes.
Jeffrey!
Jeffrey! Jeffrey!
Thinking that she's not alive to watch this on Facebook.
But that's what got me. But anyhow, so you guys have to realize it's just not me. The one, our first big Christmas with everybody here, you know, my family, her family, right?
19 plus people, right? Something like
that.
No, I mean, but so
I think we had 19.
Papa
at one
Jim, right? Papa Joel and Grandma, right?
Grandma.
They came down from Cleveland, right? And they took two cars, right? And people just naturally assume Joel and Joel in one car and the divorced father in the other. No. The two dads drove down together and made the mom drive by herself because they couldn't stand her.
Well, not only that, but the following year,
They all came down
So
together.
how was the Christmas experience with everyone here?
It was, dude. It was a great Christmas. I mean, it was obscene.
oh, you couldn't even walk.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Was that when we had Eric and Kim and like
No,
okay,
no,
'cause
no.
that was the time I was thinking. I think we had 19 people.
That
That
was
was
for a
eno-
ball game that they came down here. We
Yeah,
had the-
that was
Okay.
for a ball game, but that still was. That was another Christmas where we had a lot of people.
The
But
air hockey.
This was the air hockey. This was
Foosball, I think, was the same year.
Yeah. I mean, it was
Toys everywhere, games everywhere.
and Papa Joel, me, Papa Jim, and Papa. Right.
Yep.
and Larry.
Well, yeah, all went over to Larry's, right, because we had the hockey table stored over there, and just getting that fucker across the street.
And that was the year where you guys got it put together, and we had just put our heads on the bed, and the kids
Santa
woke up.
came.
Yeah, like 2 hours later.
I don't even think it was 2
No,
hours.
I think
It
the
was
way
2
I
hours.
remember it was like you guys got down about 2:30,
Yeah,
and
that
we were
was like
up by 4:30.
4:30. Yeah, that's right. And we're just like, you know.
No, you guys can wait a little bit. But no, you guys won't believe what's downstairs. Yeah, I'm sure we won't.
Of course, I always made sure that Santa Claus got me something too, right? So,
Like the air hockey table, your name was on that.
It was on it, and the skate shoes. What were they called? Heelys. Yeah. So Santa brought you guys a pair of Heelys, and he brought me a pair of Heelys.
Those are some of my best memories, and I still have a lot of nostalgia about, of course, getting kicked out of Kroger.
Yeah.
And then, totally, responsible. All right, well, we can't buy what we were here to buy. Let's just put it right where
I had a cart full of groceries, and they got on to us because we were healing through Kroger. I was like, well, fuck you guys. And I just left the cart there, and I had me and the boys healing out of the store.
But I love those.
Father of the year many times.
They only drove down in separate cars the first year, and after that, they would sit in the back and drink as my mom.
But still make your mom drive the whole way, 12 hours, while they're drinking in the back seat together.
And well, again,
and for all case of purposes, Joel used to go to my dad's every Friday after work, after my dad retired, and they would have cocktails together.
It was, I really respected that because that was the first time that I saw that divorced couples and stuff could really get along. I mean,
make it work. Yeah.
And well, my parents, when I've asked why they divorced, it wasn't because they didn't love each other. They were not in love with each other, and there was more of a brother-sister relationship. They got along fine.
They're not from Alabama.
No Alabama jokes.
No. They're not. Again, my mom was an only child. The thing is, like, my mom, I think, dated Louis Bogart, one of my dad's good friends, before she dated my dad. And my dad was always amazed by her family because my dad really came from, like, my grandmother was a hairdresser. My grandfather drove an oil truck and was an alcoholic and a very abusive man. And
Brian, can you hand us the bottle of vodka up there?
Well, most of the time, or screwdriver.
But they, it's not up there. It's downstairs.
Yeah,
He's pulling your leg, Brian. He was just an abusive man. I mean, my father and Uncle Mel will not even recognize him as being his father. Wow. Still to this day, hates the man that much.
Dad,
my dad
had hard enough.
my dad had run out a window.
What'd I do wrong?
My dad would run out to the window and jump onto a tree to escape my grandfather. There was many times that Mel ran to the neighbors, and one time he didn't come home for 2 weeks. So, a very abusive man. My grandmother, Gertie, love her to death. If you want to say the A grandparent, was the A grandparent. And she taught me how to bake. We did a lot of stuff with her with my parents getting divorced.
I'm sorry. We have a release at work, and I gotta.
Okay. We didn't want to talk to you anyway.
It shows.
We'll get to you. And then Gertie never drove, never had a driver's license. The only way she knew how to drive, the only way she knew how to drive was in reverse.
I do recall this, yeah.
She would sometimes have to back up a car or something to move for the oil tanker and stuff, so all she knew how to do was drive in reverse. Never drove. Howard really basically, maybe is it before he left the United States, drove, but once he went to Germany, never drove.
And now, who do you think was, like, maybe not the best way to word it, was there, like, the golden child or favorite child amongst Mel, Howard, and Jim, or PJ? Or they were all, like, what was his name again? Their dad,
Roy, I think.
Roy. He was.
Well,
like-
Roy and Howard both had the Jehovah Witness in common. So
Okay.
that would have been the golden child there. Howard, because he was away, was the golden child, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But Grandma Gertie doted on her boys, loved her boys. And like Marty being the only grandson was the favorite because he was the only.
And now with PJ, it was him, Howard, Mel, and then is that it, or is
There's
it?
only three.
Okay,
Only three boys.
that's why. Okay, I was thinking, but
And so, and Howard never married,
Yep.
never anything. So there's only four cousins, or four. Grandma Gertie only had four grandchildren.
yeah.
So
All right. Well, I want to get to Dad here in a little bit, but since he stepped away, what was like kind of your early like childhood like? So we talked a lot about your parents, you being born. What were some of your earliest memories? I know you said pre-divorce. It's kind of hard to think back, but do you have like going to kindergarten? Like, what were your thoughts there?
I mean, I
Like-
know from like looking back at pictures, when we moved to North Ridgeville, there was a tight group of neighbors, and to this day they still get. Who left? They still get together. There was Sandy Amaro, which you know,
Yep.
and Big Jim.
Yep.
A lot of Jims in my life there, Jim. I just keep it going.
Smart.
And then there's Teresa and Harry Civic, and they had 3 kids. Sandy and Jim had 2. Then the Steidles had 3 boys. So I grew up with nothing but boys.
Yeah, you're a tomboy. I know this is something that is kind of fast forwarding a little bit, but you had never broken a bone until you were 40, I think.
Right.
Actually, yeah. And we'll get back to that a little bit later, but yeah, maybe talk a little bit about some of your early tomboy adventures
Oh, I mean,
with Robin. I know the bike,
well, that's only one bike accident. When I was 5, I was at Uncle Mal's. I had just learned how to ride a bike. He has the hill, and he had a pond at the time that we used to ice skate on in the winter. But he had a fence around it. I'd rode the bike down the hill, didn't know how to stop it, ran into the fence, and the bicycle handlebar ripped my nose off my face. And the only thing I remember is looking at a handful. I remember Michelle calling up and saying, Uncle Jimmy, Daddy, Jyl is hurt. And then I remember sitting in the car and seeing a whole pile of washcloths full of blood. And then come out of surgery and stuff. My lips stuck out to about here the next day.
And if you look very, very, very closely, you might see a little bit of a scar.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So, did that. And then I got my ankle caught in a bicycle spoke before. When I still lived in North Ridgeville the first time, when we lived on Wallace, that a friend did want to ride tandem with her, so I gave up my bike and rode tandem, and we rode the power lines, and I got my ankle caught in the bicycle spoke, and my ankle was just hanging like this. It never broke, but the skin was all off of it. And at the time, I don't know, Jim, do you remember a thing where they had like the helping hand? They would have a picture, a yellow picture with a hand in the window, that when you were a child, you knew that was a safe place to go if you had any. And think about it. Any perv could have put that sign in their window.
Hey,
but
kids!
I don't know anything about that. I don't
so
remember
we
that.
had, they went up to one of those, and then my mom had.
That was a damn Yankee thing.
We had that station wagon that, like on the 70s shows, what was that called?
Yeah.
Country Squire.
No,
Station wagon. I mean,
it was a cruiser, something.
not a PT Cruiser, but
No,
Vista Cruiser.
Vista Cruiser. Thank you, Brian. And it looked just like that
I would
station
never
wagon
call
from
that,
this
that 70s show.
that 70s show. I remember being in the back and just looking up at the sky as my mom's taking me to EMH Elyria Memorial Hospital and doing that. I had a lot of trips. I had scarlet fever one Christmas, and I had to go to the doctors and get a nice penicillin shot. I dropped a big can of tuna on my foot, on my big toe, and had to have the blood drilled out of it. I was sitting in the ER in the wheelchair, and they wouldn't let me look around or cry. They were like, "You stop it, blah, blah, blah." I ended up slapping the doctor across the face, and my mom picked me up and walked me out of the room. So I've never been a flight person, as more as a fight person.
There's some good fight stories we may get to.
But we did a lot of growing up that way. Back to the neighborhood. So the neighbors, when they built their homes, they were starter homes. None of them had garages. So all the men in the neighborhood helped each other build their garage.
Yep.
And stuff. And we
That's
would
really
have,
cool.
I mean, I can't recall any snow happening up in Ohio like it did when I was younger. I mean, feet of snow, like 3, 4, 5 feet of snow. But I remember some of those things as a child. I remember going out to the woods with my dad in our toboggan and getting firewood when we lived in Elyria.
And you would go like carry the sled or drag the sled or something,
Yeah.
and then he would do all the chopping, or you would help with the chopping, or
I don't know if it was just an adventure for us kids, but
Yep.
we would go out with our dads dressed in our snowsuits, just this much of your face showing, if that.
yeah.
It was a different era of living. I mean, the blizzard of, I think it's 77, we lived out in the country. I mean, our rabbit froze. It came out of nowhere. We didn't have the weather like we do today that every second of every day what's pretty happened if you look on your phone. We woke up. It was over our 4-foot chain link fence. Our rabbit was frozen to death. Our dog could walk right over the fence. There was frozen wild turkeys in the trees.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And now that you said was 77, so you were 9. So how was school for you growing up? I know, like, even still in some places, and not just up north, there's the difference between like middle school, elementary school, high school, or elementary, middle school, high school. But then there's like elementary school, then junior high and high school up there. And how was that broken down? And
so up to 5th grade, I went to kindergarten first at what is that? I can't even remember
the school
in North Ridgeville. The school, it was something Lear Nagel. I went to that school down over there. Then we moved to Elyria, and I went to Prospect School for second grade. Second grade again, because I did get held back, because there was a reading disability there that I had. And then part of 3rd grade, and that's when I moved to Columbia Station and went to school for the rest of 3rd, part of 4th, then moved back to Elyria, went to school for part of 4th, started 5th, and then moved back to North Ridgeville. So I moved schools a lot, but when I moved back to North Ridgeville, they had become so populated that they didn't have enough room in the schools that they bused us to different cities that had open schools. Like 5th and 6th grade, I went to Elyria, but I was a North Ridgeville residence and school. And then went to middle school 7th through 8th. And then 9th grade, we had to go out to Grafton, North Eaton, to go for just 9th grade and then to high school.
Wow.
Yeah, so a
lot of jumping around, yeah.
A lot of jumping around. And that was one thing Dad and I had really wanted for our children, with him being an Air Force brat.
Yeah. And just a brat.
Just a brat. That we wanted our children to be able to go.
Steady school. So instead of like, and I was going to say, were you an outcast, like going from school to school, you feel like? Because I was gonna say, at least I was just an outcast at the one school.
I don't know. I didn't have too many friends being younger because we moved around, but I do remember having friends and doing things. I mean, I wasn't a loner.
Right.
And I could talk to a wall.
Boy, can't you ever.
And a lot of times having all boys, I feel like I'm talking
The
to
gifts
the
you
wall.
got from grandma. The gift of gifts.
If you wonder where I got it from or, failed to get it from. All right, so getting into high school and maybe even beforehand, talk a little bit about your romantic life pre-dad over here. Not that you had one, right? You waited for marriage. No. So yeah, what was your first boyfriend, first kiss? What was your first moment that oh my gosh, I like boys, into boys?
Oh, that would have been second grade with Kevin Childs, I think his name was. Tackling him on the playground and kissing him. I mean,
You whore.
Fucking slut.
there was a lot of boyfriends. It was the 70s, early 80s, so
That free love time.
Yeah, wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say I was a
Free-loving
whore, but the curiosity was there, and we had boyfriends and stuff that way. Actually, my first is actually dead.
You killed him?
Yeah, I killed him. No,
Give him a heart attack.
I think he died like a year or two ago.
Well, we were just listening to the Matthew
I'm on my way.
McConaughey, Matthew McConaughey's dad. Apparently, Matthew McConaughey's dad called it a year plus in advance. I'm going to die having sex with your mother, and died having sex with Matthew McConaughey's mother. So
Yeah, no.
you didn't kill him that way.
No, I didn't kill him that way. But you actually met him one time, James Brewer, when we were delivering corn.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Like delivering corn.
yeah.
Is that...
Well, my first job.
We were in
growing up.
Ohio, and
Yeah.
we went to a place that you used to go and deliver corn.
Yeah.
That store we went to.
Yeah.
Gibbs.
In Oberlin,
Yeah,
up there.
Gibbs. Yeah.
North Olmsted.
And yeah, so I did delivery work, sales work. We talked about this. This isn't about me. This is about you guys.
So, no, we just had a lot of fun when we were younger. I mean, again, didn't come home till the street lights were on. Parents didn't know where we were. Drank out of water faucets. Did whatever. I mean, when my parents were divorced, I mean, some nights my mom didn't come home. I mean, it was just Jay and I. I mean, we were running wild. I mean, there's stories, but
Latchkey
I'm not
kids.
going to incriminate myself, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to tell some of the stories. But
All right, then I guess unless there's anything else that you want to touch on there. So you get through high school, right? You weren't necessarily an awful student. You just weren't interested in school all that much.
it was.
call-
I come from a blue collar family, basically. My grandfather was an engineer. My mom was in real estate, stay home mom, whatever, absentee. My dad was a mechanic. My stepdad was a body man. They always do your schoolwork. I mean, I was like you. Didn't apply myself. I think if I would have applied, I would have been a better student. Maybe didn't see any reason to go to college and spend that money at the time when I was already working. I started babysitting at a young age. I worked odd and end jobs. Worked at Rini Rigo's, the grocery store, went to Kmart. I was making money. I didn't see the need to go to college at the time. I did go to 3 classes. They all are I's and completes. It just wasn't pushed that way.
And now this is something I've always heard. I mean, especially you helping to raise Jay and, to a lesser extent, Jen, that you kind of always knew that you really wanted to be a mother above. No?
Yeah. My goal in life was to be a mom.
And so after you get out of high school, you're working, I know at one point ended up...
Then she had you two and regretted it ever
No.
since.
There's a gap in there.
Yeah, well, I wanted to say...
There was drinking.
Yeah.
The alcoholism in my family had gotten bad, and I didn't want to be at home. friends of mine were living up in Long Island. They had kids. Asked me if I would come and help them because the one was a model and they had a baby. And so I moved to Long Island. And
this was when you were 18 or 19?
I think I was 20.
20,
Because
okay.
I didn't graduate high school till I was 19.
Okay.
And I worked at a distribution center. And
You may not want this brought, but you were held back 1 year at
I
some
did.
point?
I said that.
Okay,
Second
okay,
grade.
okay,
Second
yeah,
grade.
okay,
Yeah, I was held back reading.
Yep.
But I'm a very good reader now. Not as
Read a
good
lot.
as Jacob.
Mostly smut, mystery novels,
But it's still the
Yeah.
joy of reading.
Yeah,
I do have
yeah.
the joy of reading now that I didn't have as a
A
child.
lot of long hair men on horses. picture
No.
books.
It's more murder mysteries I like,
Yeah, true crime.
kind of things.
Yeah.
But so then I moved to Long Island. When I was there, I met my first husband.
What?
What? Yeah. I met my first husband.
Really
and
quick though about the drinking. So you were grandfathered in at a kind of unique time in the country.
I was 19, yeah.
You were 19. The legal drinking age was 18 at the time, but then it got moved to 21. But if you're already 18 by the time that law came about, you were able to continue drinking.
If you were born
Yeah.
that on a certain year. or-
Right.
Yeah.
So being already past 18, legally allowed to drink, they weren't going to take that away from you.
Right. I was grandfathered, yeah.
But then, so you end up in Long
And
Island.
I wasn't drinking. It wasn't my drinking.
Got it.
issue.
Okay. Yeah.
It was,
Just trying to avoid it at home.
right. There was the alcoholism at home.
Yep.
And wanted to escape. Never really wanted to stay in Ohio.
Yeah. Great place to be from, as we've said, right?
Yeah, but then,
Yeah.
there's some days that I really miss it up there, too.
You miss your sister.
I miss my sister. I miss some of the friends.
No, there are like great summer days up in Ohio. I mean,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, as a child, we took you to Niagara Falls on a day trip.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Ohio's not a bad
Canada,
state.
fucking great. No.
no, but it's ran differently than down here. And still
is.
to this day, it takes me a moment.
Well, in the same way, but to a lesser degree, just the societal, like cultural differences, especially from a work perspective. You basically around here, especially this northern metro Atlanta area, if you aren't like raising your kids and like you're like kind of thinking about like their future and everything, like to be working with their minds and, doing some sort of computer software job, it's like you're a fucking idiot. Where up there, like that is so far outside of the norm. It's like if you're not like, yes, working with your mind to some degree, but it's a lot of working with your hands. It's a lot of hardware.
I think it's up there because you've got the union support. You can actually make a living wage. You can support a family doing
Working with your
vocational work, right? I mean,
And we had vocational schools that you could learn to become a mechanic in high school or an HVAC or...
But it really is like, in some degrees, obviously, they have like this industry that we don't have down here. But in other,
it's almost like
going,
a lot. Though,
but still,
now.
like the times I've gone up recently, like it's still almost like going 20 years in the past in some degrees as far as like societal, cultural, technical adoption.
well, I don't even think that. I mean,
a lot of the plants are closed.
It's the politics. I mean, it's the Rust Belt up there, right? I mean, and you just have a lot of factory. You've got a lot of of the industrial, right? Down in the South is agriculture for the most part, right? So you can make, and having the union support, you can make, really good money being
Relative
the
to the cost
operator
of
of
living,
a backhoe operator and stuff like that, right? Those are good jobs up here. Down here, they're not seen as good jobs. They're hourly type
Contract,
right.
yeah.
Hey, if you got a job being a garbage man up there, you were doing good.
Yeah.
Seriously, because you had the union.
You're in with the city. Yeah.
But up there, you had like most of my friends and family, they worked at the steel mills, they worked at GM, they worked at Ford, in the plants, and they made good money.
Yeah. Now, touching a little bit more on your dad's line of work, kind of along those same lines. I remember Papa Jyl. He was a body shop mechanic, right? And then
He was a body man, yeah.
yeah, and then PJ, he also did.
He was a mechanic.
Okay, yep. But he was by and large retired from like the time I remember going up there.
Yeah, he retired shortly, I think, after you boys were born.
Yeah, but I remember going to the body shop with Papa Jyl a couple times. I don't think I ever like worked with him in the same way that, you know, I would go up to, you know, Arkansas and work with Nonnie and Poppa, but of course did my fair share with the corn farm up in Ohio. And I guess, was that something, because I know Gary Sweet, he had Sweet's corn like as a much larger operation prior to Josh and I coming in, right? So
well, yeah, prior to Grandma even helping out,
Okay.
he was really big. I mean, he was in the public supermarkets down here,
Yeah.
and then I want to say a drought happened or something that way,
that's a tough business.
and then
Yeah.
Gary Sweet, we'll just leave that chapter closed.
All right. Really quick though, I know you want to, but when did Grandma meet him, and like how did she start to get involved? Or you don't want to?
Grandma was in the Chamber of Commerce, the Visitors Bureau, head of the North Ridgeville Corn Festival, so she probably knew Gary from like.
Just being a socialite, sort of.
Right. God, I'm thinking at least 1976, 74. And
Because what, like 88 was maybe the heyday of sweets?
I think 88, like between 88 and 82.
82 and 88.
88 and 92, I think,
Okay.
is when it started falling apart.
Got it.
And he lost a lot of his farm and all that stuff that away because of bankruptcy. And, you know, some people don't run things legitimately, and there was
Yeah, we were never paid under the table in cash, you know, $3 an hour.
No, I'm talking,
Yeah.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, hypothetically.
I think a lot of it, there was some misbookkeeping by a brother-in-law and
Money going where it shouldn't be going.
yeah, and people pocket things
Yeah.
because people just thought they were doing good, and
Yeah.
you know,
I deserve
your
this.
grandma was into politics and all that stuff. She did a lot of things that way in North Ridgeville. I mean, she got her proclamation upon her death from the city of North Ridgeville and the state of Ohio. I mean, your grandma did a lot.
Yeah, no, I remember. I mean, and one of the things I'm most thankful from my grandparents, both Grandma and Nonnie, you know, both getting me very interested in politics from a young age. And I never even thought about it that way growing up, but I just was always kind of like politically aware, you know, maybe, or had a political awareness. Maybe it might not be the correct, you know, quote unquote viewpoint, but
on my side
And
of
you're
the family,
still not.
yeah.
and on my side of the family, you basically, PJ was a Democrat. Doesn't matter. Democrat.
And he
Your
hated
grandmother was a Republican
Yep. In a
All-
NASCAR.
and into NASCAR and believed in guns.
Yeah.
But the thing is, she was changing as she was getting older and voting for the person.
Yep.
And Papa Jyl, he was an independent. So you actually had in your grandparents all three parties.
Yeah, and PJ, let me tell you, we did not get along towards the last couple years, at least politically and philosophically speaking.
But he always thought you would be a great salesperson.
Yeah, well, I mean, I already was, right? You know, and that was, again, another great, I guess, contribution from my grandparents, learning how to do business, you know, getting charged rent, you know, for using his property out front to sell the snow cone stands, you helping buy the supplies, and then, you know, oh, yeah, you got to pay back for the supplies, you know, after you made the money. And, I mean, that was obviously small scale, but just obviously fun, nostalgic experience, but also really great formative business experience as well. But all right, so you get to Long Island, you meet Eric. talk about that a little bit. How did you come to meet him, and then to
I
whatever
was working
degree?
in a shoe store and he came in, and then we went on a few dates and stuff, and then I divorced him, married him, divorced him, and met your father.
And you don't have to
Not
incriminate
necessarily
himself.
in that order, but
Wait, you forgot about a pregnancy in there too somewhere.
There's a lot of gloss in there.
There's a lot of interweaving.
But I think we can leave it at that, and maybe a future time we can go into more detail if and when appropriate. But Mr. Young Buck over here, the kid who had his cradle robbed. No,
I married a cougar.
yeah.
4 years does not count as a cougar.
It's a big 4 years.
So
You were young. You were
I was.
yeah, and that was something that I still kind of find it amusing that you guys were, mid-20s, mid-20s, later 20s.
He was not mid-20s.
I was
He was
early
22.
22, yeah. Fuck, dude, I'm so far behind. Yeah. So you were 22, and you, much like myself, I'm 28 now, very close to 29, and have maybe started shaving my face once a week. And that might not even really be necessary. So I get the baby face from you. You're also, of course, just very young looking, genetically speaking as well. And so, you guys were told, like, hey, you guys need to slow down when I was on the way. So this is post Josh.
When you were born.
When
When
were
I was
born,
born. Yeah. It's like, man, teen pregnancies.
Yeah, they looked at Nonnie and
went to talk to
and
Nonnie.
went up to her and asked her if she ever talked to us about,
Responsibility.
and she's like, they're
What the hell are these kids doing?
Yeah, they're in their late 20s for crying out
I
loud.
was in my late 20s. You had just turned 25, I think.
Yeah, I had just turned.
So you were 25 when y'all got married?
No.
You were 22?
No, I was 24 when we
24.
got married.
But you...
But when he was born,
I was 20.
Yeah,
He was 25.
and that's when
By 6 days.
yeah, by 6 days, yeah. But that's when they, then technically, yeah. So when he was born, I mean, the nurses were, oh my God, this is their second, they're teen parents and all that
And
stuff.
it's like, how stupid are they? They cannot look on the thing and look at my age on my chart.
Yeah, I don't know.
They couldn't believe it. It's like, no, there's no way she's that old.
That's right. Somebody falsified records. Yeah, no.
So, all right, going back to the time you were born, right? So I still have a hard time believing this. Literally ran it by Mom last night. Was Dad really like a twin that just like, and there was, you beat him out?
Yeah, fuck them up, man.
Fuck you, little bitch.
There's only room in here enough for
one
one. Yeah. So I was.
Now, can you talk about that? Like, what was the situation about that twin not being born? I mean, because that would probably, like, if it was, later in the pregnancy, probably had to be a pretty tough situation.
Yeah,
right?
but I think I devoured the other very early on because it was not a.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
That was your
It was not a fully developed placenta or whatever it is, right?
Definitely not a human baby.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's yeah.
So you killed your sibling, essentially.
I'm the fucking Highlander. There can be only one.
So,
Remind me not to piss you off ever again.
and I guess just have dates: June 5th, 1968, and then
Nope.
Delete that.
Delete. Yeah. Yeah.
March 4th, 1972. You are the youngest. You have one sibling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tracy, who I love so much, kind of like Jay, right? No, not to that degree, obviously, but what do you remember about your like earliest years, or like your parents? Like I guess not pre you being born, you wouldn't remember that, but anything that you heard about you coming into being that kind of stood out, other than you being a twin.
Well, every year on our birthdays, Nonnie would always say, 10 years ago today, 11 years ago today. So, Aunt Tracy and I.
And she would do the same for
Yeah.
Josh and I on birthdays.
Yeah, Aunt Tracy and
I
I,
remember.
we definitely know our origin stories and stuff like that. But no, it was a Saturday, and
She had popcorn.
well, we won't go there, but
Actually, I'm curious from this angle. I know my conception date. Do you know yours, or do you know yours? Was
No.
there any significance to
No.
that?
no,
Okay.
no.
What was yours?
June 5th, 1996. I'm a birthday sex baby. All right.
No, so Poppa was stationed actually in Blytheville. He had just come back from Thailand.
Wait, Blytheville or Blyville?
Blytheville, yeah. So, anyhow, long story short, so Nonnie and Aunt Tracy and we're living with Meme and Pepe, all right, and
And Meme and Pepe, that's Nonnie's, so your mom's parents.
yeah, and of course, smoking everyone smoked back then, even pregnant mothers and shit like that. So, but my grandfather, would have his white T-shirts, right, just riddled with burn holes from the ashes falling and stuff like that. But he brought Nonnie to the hospital, right? And they're like, whoa, this is, they made the assumption that he's the father, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, no. So,
Do you need to? No,
No,
you're
yeah,
good for now.
yeah.
So, talk a little bit about your lineage, right? Or I guess also my lineage, but from your side. So, kind of maybe obviously Meme Pepe French background, but you want to talk about them, and then we can get on to the other side as well.
Yeah. So, on the paternal side, Papa's side, we're English, and from our research,
We're gonna go back to like Charlemagne or something.
yeah, we're like 23rd cousins to King Charles or something like that. I mean, it's we make the connection somewhere.
Where's my inheritance?
Yeah, yeah. Somewhere along the whole line, yeah. We got the connection there, and then
Is that also, at least as far as you're aware, the Viking origin as well, back down like 600 or 800?
one, like, again, if history is correct, if written history is correct, like 132, Halfdan the Elder is the Viking, right?
That we originate from.
Yeah. So, yeah. I need my horns in that. They never wore horned helmets.
They weren't horny people.
They weren't. Well, they were. But they didn't need horns on their helmet.
It's more of the Raping Village variety.
So there's that, and then
Those were the days.
so on Nonnie's side, it's French, so go through French Canada, and then we trace back to.
And as far as I recall it, our ancestors that came over from France to Canada, obviously before the U.S., they were basically like the Pilgrim, like Mayflower sort of equivalents, right? Some of the early settlers.
They were some of the early, yeah.
Not like the first
I wouldn't
ship?
say, yeah, I wouldn't say the first ship, but very darn close to. Think about like
I think 1513 is a date that I recall, or maybe even like 1496 or something.
1586, something
Somewhere,
like that.
yeah.
But
And that was Was that Adrushan Trottier or am I?
Antoine Trottier.
Okay, Adrushan was a foreign exchange student we had. I didn't like.
Yes. So Antoine Trottier was the patriarch of the New World settlement for us, and he had 6 sons, and they went throughout and became fur trappers and
And didn't they change their names so they could get more land?
well yes, yeah, but
That was kind of common.
So
right?
where did they settle?
so all right, so
Acadian
they came in and settled in 3 Rivers, right? Trois-Rivières, in Quebec, and so the 6 sons all had different last names, and it was always a mystery as to why, right? Were they on the run? What's and which is unfortunate because I didn't solve the mystery until after Nonnie passed, and this was something that
she was on the hunt for. Diving into.
Yeah.
We
found out. We. So, long story short, of course, like any, like Spanish, the names just get tacked on. The maternal names just get tacked on.
You become Daenerys Targaryen.
Conchita, what is it? Rosita, Juanita, Conchita, Chihuahua, I think, that's a Lady and the Tramp reference, right? So that's my favorite movie.
Is it?
Yeah. And so we had, Belcourt de Ruisseau, Trottier, Fevreau, just all the names, right? So instead of keeping the last part of the last name, they all took different sections of the big names, right? Because the king would grant a piece of land to each family. So by name. So we gamed the system.
We were big brain geniuses from the start.
Yeah. We learned how to take advantage of the government. We learned how to take advantage of the system early on, so that everyone could
was
get.
that the information center at the 3 Rivers?
Exactly right.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
that was a recent trip that you guys took.
Yeah,
right?
2023.
Yeah.
So, and it was like, well, I'll be damned. Makes sense. Occam's razor, right?
Were you looking to go see what information you could find? Okay.
Yes.
That was the purpose of the whole trip.
That was
okay. Doing your own. What was that show like? Ancestry, like.
Who do you like?
Who do you think you are?
Yeah. Who do you think you are?
We went to many cemeteries, walking them, looking for bell courts and other names that your dad gave me to look for.
In the 80s, right? I mean, my grandfather, Pepe.
And what was his name again?
Pepe.
Pepe. Yeah. Pepe Le Pew.
The frog.
Yeah, Pepe Le Pew.
Romeo, right?
Yeah. But he was big into genealogy and ancestry, right? And so he sort of passed that on to me. And so when I was like a junior or a senior, I got in touch, through connections, I got in touch with another Belcourt, right, who, did a lot of this. And, you didn't have all this online easy bullshit
connection to anyone in the world.
Right. So you had to go to archives, you had to go through, and stuff. So
you had to go to a library.
So he sent me this guy had sent me a ton of stuff. He, and God bless him, he didn't have to do it, but he made copies and like.
And it
That's
wasn't
that one
easy
like
to make
binder
copies.
that we have, like the one that's kind of spiral bound. Is that
Well,
right?
that's one of the
them.
things.
Yeah.
But pictures and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So anyhow, long story short, that's how I got into it, right? And so, like, my interest in it, right, is actually what fed Nonnie's interest. I sort of got her interest in it.
And then for a while you were raising us knuckleheads, she kind of, maybe not leapfrog, but she kind of took the torch and ran with it for a while. And,
Yeah.
So, something that, was interesting to me growing up was Nonnie's background, where she went to French speaking school in the United States, where you hear, especially around here, like a lot of Spanish speaking students, Spanish speaking schools even. But I tell people that, like, wait, what? Like, that's just such an unheard of sort of.
There's room in America for other people to speak languages,
Except them Somalis. Stay the fuck out.
But yeah, French was her first language. She was born and raised in the United States, didn't learn English until, going to school.
But she did live in Canada so she was the first, but her parents, they were born in the U.S., but I think they lived in Canada for
did, right? They were born in the United States, but then their families moved back to Canada. And then as adults and stuff, they came back in the United States. But my grandmother, she wasn't allowed to come back into the United States because she had polio. So but once
that cleared up, she was able to come back and so that was prior to Nonnie, right? And so she has. Mark was the youngest, right? But he also died first. Is that correct?
Passed
away first.
Siblings.
Yes, right. Yeah, thank you for clarifying. So, Nonnie was not the middle, because there's no middle of four, right?
Right.
So, can you explain the order?
Yeah, she's the second oldest. So,
Got it. Yeah. So it's Mark, and then it was Dick, and then
it's. Dick, the oldest.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Judy, Bob,
right.
And then Mark.
Okay. And what was your experience with them growing up? They weren't much in your life, if at all, just distance and.
Well, because of the Air Force,
right?
We just didn't get a chance to see them. But my uncles, probably some of the biggest influences on me. I mean, and especially Uncle Bob, right?
Yeah.
Because even at the time, my Uncle Dick was dealing with some of his own,
life.
And so, like my Uncle Bob, he was, successful and stuff, and
very responsible, but like also like not just in the financial sense, but being family man, and then also but being a fun guy as well. It's
he's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the funniest fuckers I've ever known, and
I miss the humor in the family. Just skip right past me.
But and he doesn't know it, but I mean, he was my role model. He was my male role model.
I remember in my early childhood, I think the only time I went up there to New Hampshire, and always thinking it was cool. He had the Miata, and then learning that New Hampshire, I think, still one of the few states you don't have to wear
no seatbelt.
Live free or die.
Yeah.
Too bad it's just up it,
And I'll tell you this: people think the South has rednecks. Boy, if you go to rural New Hampshire,
or rural New York,
no, rural New Hampshire with the live free or die, that's
So you have seatbelt laws today, right?
No,
really?
Yeah, no seatbelt in New Hampshire.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
today I thought it was.
And I think, if not also New Hampshire, I think Maine, and then maybe Vermont. There's a couple states up there, I think. No billboards alongside highways are allowed. And so, I mean, they are very much about the individuals and not about like the collective organizations and corporations and even big government. Of course, there's exceptions wherever you live. But so what about Meme and Pepe? What more do you know about them, especially from your early childhood? What stands out as like core memories? Because, obviously they spoke French as their first language, right? Mm-hmm. Nonnie spoke French pretty much half and half. Was that her first language?
It was her first language. Like, I mean, she didn't learn English until I think they started like kindergarten and stuff like that, right? But, at the time, again, in New England, right, the French Canadians would come down to work in the mills and stuff like that, right? So, of course, just like America today, we can't stand immigrants, right? We don't want,
them Somalis.
We don't want to give anybody the chance.
Well, no, I don't think that's true. I think there's a lot of people that are pro-immigration for people coming to America for them and their families to become American. But I think what a lot of people, including myself, are not for is the people that are coming over to America, especially the illegal ones, right? Even if they have good intentions, like, hey, I want more opportunity for myself, my family. But a lot of times that's, hey, I'm going to move here and send money back to my home country, or we're all going to move back there once we've made it enough. And
yeah. I mean, I get
there's
that,
a lot of nuance.
But the, thing is that, of course, the French Canadians were the ones that people would pick on in society.
They were like the pre-Italian, the
Irish, the Italians,
the Scottish,
the
even
African Americans,
yeah.
right? So the church, right, would go down and establish a support system for these immigrants, right? So they would set up the stores, the schools, the churches, right, and the booster clubs, right, and yes, the money stayed in the United States and stuff, but again, because those dirty French Canucks, right?
I mean, they're right, but
you're one of them, or partially. So
takes one to know one.
Yeah. So, So, Meme was,
firecracker.
She was a. What's the a bon esprit, lively spirit?
Okay, yeah.
So we both had one. I had Auntie B, and you had Meme.
Yeah, and Pepe,
Pepe tamed Meme, though. It sounds like Auntie B was untamable.
No. But he was in the army during World War II.
Okay, wow.
And
do you know to what degree? Like what's?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a cook stationed in California, but
hey,
but he was ashamed of it.
Really?
Yeah, he was,
because he felt like he could have and should have done more. Maybe.
Yeah, because his brother, right, was in the 101, right, and
now this is jumping sides, but it just makes me think of it. Where you were similarly looking at going into the armed forces, specifically the Air Force, towards the end of your high school.
I was looking at actually going into the Navy.
Okay.
Right.
But
then I figured, then I discovered I was straight.
Jim, were you in the Navy?
Why would you ask that question?
A resident seaman over here.
I thought then maybe going into the Marines, because it's still a department of the Navy, the men's department. Right.
Yeah.
But then you realized that you couldn't cut it as a Marine. So.
No, in all honesty, I you know, again, you know, Top Gun, the movie, just, you know,
Great propaganda.
great propaganda, right? And
We shit on China about their new movies coming out. It's like they're just where we were in the 80s as far as making propaganda war movies.
But, you know, the military life was all I knew, right? I mean, you know, and so, but in high school as a senior, the boys back then had to take the ASVAB test.
Our boys had to actually take it.
I don't think they had to.
No,
had to
I elected
register.
to take it.
Yeah.
Everyone still has to register for the draft.
Yeah, you got to register for the draft for selective
But not
service.
my body, my choice.
But anyhow, you know, so aced that, and then I had all the recruiters come knocking on my door, and
Oh, you're so smart, Jeff.
yeah, basically, yeah, and I was
Yeah.
a
A
smart-
resident like John Carmack, a
Yeah.
Blyville John Carmack.
I was always an advanced student, I guess.
I mean, even from like, and I want to go back to like you being a young kid and Tracy as well, being very advanced verbally. And but what I wanted to cover from that was something that Poppa had said.
The greatest gift that I ever received from Poppa was when the Navy recruiter did come. He was the last one, and you know, he pulled me into the kitchen in front of the Navy recruiter, and he said, boy, you know, he always, boy, yeah, you know, it'd be good for you, but just know I served enough time for the both of us, you know, because he's a life, well, not a life,
20 years.
Full, yeah, he did the full, and
it was like, oh my God, like you
So he
speak to him
discouraged
today.
it.
he didn't discourage
Or
it.
he just gave you a.
But
You don't have to
he
feel
cut
obligated.
off the obligation, right?
Yeah.
He made it so that I didn't feel obligated.
There are other possibilities for me.
Exactly. All right, and
Boy, that is like really profound. I mean,
it
thinking,
is right, especially for an idiot like him, because really, right, I knew I wanted to go to college, right, because I wanted to get the fuck out, right. I mean, I was ready to get out of the house, right.
Let's just say he was not the same grandfather to Josh and I that he was father to you and Tracy.
Which, you know, even Pepe, right? That's the exact, you know,
Same
the
sort.
vicious cycle, right? You see that in Mom's family, that vicious cycle.
I'm going to be one asshole of a dad.
And then in my
We've
family,
gone better as the generation.
yeah.
I
think
feel anyway.
Well,
Skipping one.
I think we broke the cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we broke.
I think you guys,
the
again,
cycle.
not just from the family, but literally out of a lot of people I've met, I think the most like concerted, like purposeful, intentful parents I've met.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I think
Well,
we
thank you.
both learned from our parents by counter. I think we learned more by counter example from our parents than by example.
see, now I hear Tom Brady. He talks about, I'll never be as great of a dad as, you know, my dad. And it's like, fuck, you know, I feel like, and weren't perfect, but really damn
We
close.
weren't.
I mean,
And
yeah.
we've
There's
often
no
told-
book on parenting.
Yeah.
Right, and we've told you that we were not perfect parents. Did
Yeah.
we do everything right? No. Oh, no.
But mostly, I mean, and again, one
But-
thing that kind of resonated with me, I forgot like how it came up, but I think just the realization or the conversation around like, and it just doesn't click, I think, in a lot of people's heads. Like, you guys just people trying to figure it out, once babies, once kids, that like,
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
just trying
again,
to
like,
figure
no
out.
book.
And,
Yeah.
and again, we're humans. We
Yeah,
make
yeah.
errors. Did we do everything 100% correct by you guys?
Clearly
oh, heck
not.
no. I mean, when you have a stubborn child and strong-willed child, and you're in the heat of the
especially
moment,
when they come from parents that aren't stubborn, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not stubborn.
me neither.
You know,
And
we're
strong-willed,
both easygoing.
yeah.
We're both really
No,
easygoing.
but I mean, there's challenges, and you're in the heat of the moment, and you can't help your own emotions, and you're dealing with another person's emotions. Things are done wrong.
Yeah. Well, let's not get on like what's wrong with your guys' parenting. We'll be here literally all day.
I think at the end of the day, your mom provided the compassion that you guys have, or that you used to have. Right.
Or that you thought they had.
Before my heart faded away.
And then I think educationally speaking, I was the one who provided
Still disciplined.
that.
In the summers, I wasn't like one of those mothers that were like, okay, we got to do, study for the SATs. We got to do this. We got to do that. I played games that helped them think
it is,
and do
but
stuff.
what I'm
The
saying is,
handwriting, the job experiences, but the more formal academic sort of.
Oh yeah, because you were definitely book
An academic,
smart,
yeah.
where I was
look,
not.
At the end of the day, I'm bringing a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old into the bank, right? And
Not even 30.
and they're asking questions about the stepped rate CD promotion that they're offering, right?
Was this before or after the target experiences of saying you have a big penis?
Oh no! Yeah. God damn.
We've had an interesting household.
But I mean, and this is both of us, right? I mean, like we always taught you guys math and stuff, but we always taught you how money works, right? How
tax on
We
the
were
dollar.
great bartenders at, family parties and, having our jars named Philip tip jars. Named
fill up the tip jar.
But I think a lot of games came into aspect as they were
Well,
growing
and
up.
interacting
The
with adults.
Pinocchles and
but like the crib. But again, whether they know it or not, that was intentful, right?
Yeah.
We played those games with intent to help them
Socialize, think on the fly.
well and get up the math
Strategy-
skills again, right?
strategize.
Because, again, right? I mean, I again, bringing a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old into a bank, right? And maybe you guys were 1 or 2 years older because you guys had been working on the farm, right? And I always made you guys take, half of your money, put it in the bank, and you guys got to spend the other half.
GameCube games, Game
People are
Boys.
like, oh, your kids are spoiled. They got GameCube.
We worked.
Yeah, they fucking worked.
And no, we were absolutely, and I would say especially
guys
me,
earned
because
that.
I asked for a lot. And, I would keep asking and keep asking and not all the time, but like, I of course was spoiled as well. Like, not maybe rotten, although that's debatable, but like, again, we talked about this last night. We were never like, as far as like, especially around here, globally, of course, rich, right? But as far as like around here, we were never like the rich ones of, this area, but like, we also never felt like money was ever a real problem. Like,
we were going to
obviously-
have dinner on the table.
yeah,
that
like
night.
they were going to lose the house or whatever. And like there might have been, in the background, but again, like Josh and I like literally had like maybe not always in the moment, but especially looking back, like a very idealistic childhood, like allowed to be children, but also preparing us in a way that, again, I don't think many kids
do you remember
are.
how much the GameCube cost?
$200 roughly.
I think it was $100.
I think
And
it
you
was
guys
probably
even had
150.
And you
not
guys
200.
had figured out how much you would even need in tax to pay that. And that was also the summer that you learned that Ohio does not tax food.
Yeah.
Because you guys had gone to
Walking to like
Wendy's.
Vigilici's or Wendy's.
You went to Wendy's from Grandma's.
Yep.
And you came back and you're like, wow, the hamburger was 99 cents, and it was 99 cents. It wasn't $1.04 or whatever, because
Yeah.
you guys had figured out the tax down here.
Yeah.
And then when you went up there, you didn't have to worry about the tax on the food that you purchased.
He goes up to the bank teller, right, and asks to see a statement, right, a balance,
You know,
right,
sad,
after he made the deposit, and so she prints out the balance statement for him, and he's like, well, where's my interest? And the bank teller says, well, we pay it by the quarter, right? And again, they knew how money worked. And Jacob says, you're only paying me a quarter to use my money? Right? And the teller was like, no. And I'm like, no, they pay it quarterly. It's, and stuff. So anyhow, so they see this promotion for a 2-year stepped rate CD, right? So it starts off, 1%, then in 6 months it goes up another 0.5%, right? And up, then it goes up to 2%, right? And so, of course, as a custodial savings account, was maybe paying 0.1% interest, right? For fucking banks.
And the banks are so bad down here in Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, they were better when we lived in Kansas.
But so the boys were like, Dad, we want to do that and, learn more about it. So I'm like, okay. So, instead of leaving, we sat there. The bank rep.
I had more money in my bank account at 5 than I do at 28.
You did. Yes, you did. And so he comes out and, Josh asks, I want to find out more about the stepped rate CD and stuff. And so the guy, he looks at me and starts explaining it. I'm like, hey, I know how it works.
He asked you.
He's asking you. So, the guy, feels like he's humoring me, and so he starts to talk, and again, he looks up at me and says something. I'm not your customer. I don't care that they're 7 or 5, 6 and 4, right? I'm making whomever talk to my kids as though they're real people, right? And so, and the guy says to, and Jake says, he looked at Josh and says, let's do it, Josh. And so the guy says, well, unfortunately, it's a $500 minimum to open. And he looks at me and I said, dude, I am not your customer. So the guy, he looks at the kids and say, it's $500 minimum to open. This is 20 years plus years ago.
23 years ago.
And
So you were what? You were like
Probably
8?
5.
You were 5 years old?
Yeah,
So
5.
probably
Yeah,
23,
5. Yeah.
23 years ago.
And the boys say,
No problem.
yeah, no problem. The guy, he looks, he's like, and then he realized, he looked at it, he's like, I've never seen kids that this knowledgeable about
And now
money.
Trump is helping every kid
Yeah.
have.
And then a few years later, what I let them do on their own? Take $500 of their own money and go
Invest in
pick
the
out
stock
stock. Yeah, I didn't pick out the stocks.
And that was also part of the early, pre-seed capital for iView, and that, and me selling all of my, electronics that I spent all my paychecks from Best Buy on. But going back to you, so you were born in New Hampshire, of all places, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long were you there in New Hampshire?
Maybe a few months.
So similar, less time than I was in Wichita.
Oh, yeah.
March to June, you were about the same amount of
Yeah,
time.
it could be about
Okay.
the same. Yeah.
You were March to
I thought
June.
it was always like 8 months or something like that
No.
in Wichita.
It just,
No, you were still in Kansas. We went to Kansas City when you were a baby.
Got it. So definitely want to get back there. But you were born in New Hampshire. Where was the first place? Again, we kind of alluded to this. You're moving all over the place, not just the United States at one point through your dad being stationed in Germany, Poppa being stationed in Germany. You live abroad over there as well. So can you kind of talk about the progression from the earliest childhood, like born in New Hampshire, where you moved, and then where you started first, like forming memories?
The first memory I have, and I know people like bullshit, but
Coming out of the womb.
but believe it or not, right? I mean, we were stationed in Blytheville twice. Okay,
I'm so sorry.
I know, right? So, and I remember that Christmas, and I might have been 1.5. Oh no, I'm sorry. It wasn't Blytheville. It was in North Dakota.
I thought you were down. Was it Tracy then that lived with Granny and Granddaddy, or was
We all
it
did. Yeah, that was from
New Hampshire to Granny and Granddaddy?
Yeah.
Because I thought, like, I remember the diaper rash stories that
That's-
your mom
yeah,
would
that's
tell
it.
me.
That was it. Yeah,
And then that's
that was
down
it. Yeah,
south
yeah.
Georgia, Pelham, Georgia. It's
Yeah.
a totally different world from here.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you talked. Their windows were sealed. You couldn't even open a freaking window in their house.
Really?
Yeah.
Granny and Granddaddy's?
Yeah, whenever someone did the house, they just basically painted them shut or whatever, and they couldn't get it open. I know that's a story because I remember Nonnie telling me about that.
I remember
And
her
no
talking-
AC. I mean, I remember.
black lady making what was it, a quarter a week or a quarter a day or something like that. Yeah.
But
Helping out with the house.
yeah. So anyhow, my first memory, it might have still been Blytheville. It might have been the Christmas before we moved to North Dakota. But I remember my little airplane ride and scooting my feet on my little airplane.
Like
and
peddler. Yeah.
It's
But
not-
then
yeah,
when
yeah.
you guys lived in Blytheville, then you lived in housing on the base.
Yeah, both times.
So it was
we
like
lived-
Flintstone style.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Really quick, just what I'm thinking about, because Poppa is in my mind as well right now. Getting into like the model trains. Once you guys one of these years put up the village in its full glory, you can put one of the new model train sets. I saw the tracks downstairs, so I was like, that would be a nice little addition to the village.
I've got
around the village.
I've got a ton of model trains in this house, believe it or not.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
from Poppa. They used to.
No,
there were some before.
There was
remember,
one
yeah.
from Poppa, one from Jyl, and then
My mom, and
Well-
then we bought
well,
some when the
yeah,
kids were
yeah.
young. I think we bought those in Kansas City. We had bought I don't know the
big,
size.
Yeah, the big
What they're
O
called.
gauge.
The
O
O
gauge.
Yeah, so, duh, mom.
Duh.
All right, but so from New Hampshire,
This one might be G gauge. The big.
from New Hampshire, living with Granny and Granddaddy.
Yeah.
Then from there up to North
Blytheville
Dakota,
to North Dakota,
okay,
Blytheville, North Dakota,
Carolina. No,
New York.
And North Dakota's that's still like all by the time you're 3 or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
but yeah. So
And-
up time I was 4.
And so, really quick, before you were born, was this before or after Tracy was born as well? That it was like Nonnie was 18, right? You know, meets this Southern hick, right? And Poppa coming in. I would like some Coke with eyes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because Poppa was, again, just joined the military, right? And he joined the Air Force, right? He made the choice before
He was gonna
Uncle
get drafted.
Sam.
Made
Yeah,
the choice
before
for him.
Uncle Sam made the choice for him.
And really quick, another very insightful, like, holy cow, this is coming out of Poppa. And again, as a grandfather, I had learned a lot from him growing up as a child. But then, older in age. He talked about this to me, where he had like a premonition of sorts, like where he was out in like these rice fields in Vietnam and like not liking his odds basically, and it's like, I need to go get ahead of this before I get the wrong end of it. Unfortunately went over not too. I don't know if he was ever in Vietnam, but he was like in the surrounding area, like
he was in Thailand.
He
was stationed in Thailand.
How long was he in Thailand?
So his first was Guam, and then his second was Thailand, right?
At least a couple of years.
A tour. A tour, which was back then, a combat tour was 8-9 months
at a time.
Yeah. And but yeah, so I think, right, as they got like back and forth, via stops in Hawaii, right? But again, from what I remember and stuff, but to catch the charter flights and stuff, you'd fly on the jump seats of the C-130s. Right back then, you make the rolling landings into Vietnam as the ambulance trucks are just rolling the bodies on, being fucking shot at, right? And hell, and even in Thailand, I mean,
getting shot at. Yeah.
He was issued the helmet, the M16 and stuff like that, and
he was also a sharpshooter, wasn't he?
He was an expert marksman.
And then
and I didn't find that out until when he moved here.
Right,
because
I actually heard that when we were doing the BB gun shooting at up in Blytheville with him.
Well, and again, so anyhow, so just look. That war, I don't care if you were chair force or not.
You paid the price.
There wasn't any branch of the military that was
unscathed,
and you had it easy, right? You might have had it worse, being in the Marines or the Army or what have you.
Compared to the civilian populace, it was no cakewalk.
Exactly. I mean, listen, our planes. Right? Even the pilots, right, were getting fucking shot down. Why? Because our military was fucking stupid. They had every plane being designed for nuclear deterrence and stuff. So even our F-4s, right, they weren't made for air-to-air combat.
Yeah.
They were made to drop fucking deliver bombs and stuff. And that's why the MiGs were just fucking getting us every time, right? And
then Poppa also made a great point that you even see it in some of the Hollywood movies that kind of Hollywood dramatize it, but hitting the same points over and over again.
Well, that was okay. So that was in Guam, right? The B-52s, right, taking off every hour on the hour, basically, right? And this is why he says that cocksucker LBJ. We could have won the war, but that cocksucker LBJ just had them bomb the same fucking areas
relentlessly.
And again, a conversation that kind of sticks out with Poppa is like, there's sometimes it's like, holy cow, the perspective that he offers is just like, you don't expect it to come from him, as bad as that sounds to say. I remember, just because I'm interested in, the U.S. presidents, I would say definitely more so than the average bear. But asking Nonnie, as we talked about, got a lot of political awareness or interest from her, asking who she thought the best president was, I think at least in her lifetime. And then she said... I think she might have said JFK, given that obviously very, very, very young then.
Both her grandmothers had an interest in JFK.
I got it. Grandma was the one that really opened my eyes.
To shake his hand.
Really? I did not know that. Wow. But yeah, Grandma was the one that originally opened up my eyes to JFK, and then Nonnie was the one that, like, especially towards the time she came down to here, I was able to talk with her about JFK, where previously, of course, I like, oh yeah, JFK, great guy, seemingly, you know, great president, but, you know, of course, I was always partial to Theodore Roosevelt, like above all other president that we've had. I think, you know, maybe the shining example as like what it means to be an American to the greatest degree. But in any case, he offered his perspective, Richard Nixon. And of course, like in popular, you know, history that is taught in schools.
You're supposed to just always cringe when you hear Richard Nixon.
Like tricky dick, and like he's just a criminal. But like his most criminal act that he got impeached for was literally just to cover up something that if it was done now, like spying on the DNC, like, oh yeah, shocker, surprise, right? And I think he's probably the most underrated president of anyone that I've studied. At least probably the most misrepresented, other than I would say Donald Trump is up there as far as being misrepresented. Obviously, no, perfect person, either. But that was the first time I ever heard Nixon talked about in a positive light, and the first one that like made me, oh, let me go look more into Nixon. And I still think, the cliche that he did better in the radio debate versus JFK. You even go watch the old televised debates, and it's like, we would be so lucky to have either one of these men as presidents today, especially Nixon.
Worse.
I mean,
Our candidacy, but
one positive light with Nixon, really quick. If you go back and watch Family Ties, Michael J. Fox's character was all about Nixon.
Yeah. Really? Well, and Reagan.
Yeah.
It was all about Reagan. Yeah.
I heard a lot of older people, I remember as a child, say, well, after Watergate, they said, if Nixon were to run, I'd vote for him again. Yeah. So a lot of people, I think, respected and thought he had good policies.
Well, I mean, I think every party has had their schmucks, right? And,
they're George W. Bushes.
Well, I don't even think George W.
He definitely wasn't the puppeteer of his administration.
Well, no, I mean, but he wasn't as bad of a president. I mean,
I think as of
nowadays, going back, we can say that. But I mean, like LBJ,
he was an operative.
He was a fucking douchebag out of
ladder climbing career bureaucrat.
Yeah, I mean, and
he was probably the best. Like, if you're just talking like being a political operative,
to me, he's like the Democratic Trump. He was a megalomaniac. It was more about him than. But anyhow, look, I'm not going in there because at the end of the day, all I can say is I am proud to be a Gen Xer, right? And I will make this statement, and I will make it boldly. Yes, my grandparents were part of the greatest generation and all that stuff. But I think the most resilient generation and the best generation
Gen Z
is Gen X.
Really?
It's us, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Jim, we're right there on the cusp of Gen X.
I'm an old Gen X. Gen X is 65 to
80.
To 80. I'm 67. Well, I'm curious. Why do you say that? Why do you feel that the Gen X generation is?
We've adapted.
Yeah, we've had to adapt through a lot. I mean, think of Latchkey. I mean, Latchkey kids start with us.
I think the start of modern.
We've learned how to take care of business, economy. We've had to learn to do many things on our own.
I think when we were in high school, computers were just coming in.
Yeah. Well, that's true. We adapted. We had no choice, really. Some of us have adapted better than others, but the greatest generation had by far, I think, the hardest challenge. I mean, you got the Great Depression.
Coming out of World War I.
Coming out of World War One, the war. It was so bad, the war to end all wars. Then you got the Great Depression. Then you got World War II.
I'm not saying that they weren't
sturdy and strong people
and stuff like that, but when it comes to really the resilience, I mean, because at that time, you know, again,
we're not crybabies.
Yeah, we're not fucking Gen X, we're not crybabies. Gen X, hell no, we're not crybabies.
You pull up those big girl panties and you just keep on marching on.
Yeah. Do you think you're a crybaby?
I mean, relative to like again World War I, you know,
to the kids today,
But I think what Jim's going like, yeah, compared to the kids today, yeah, more resilient, more disciplined. But then you compare it to the greatest generation.
Today, yeah, I mean,
and again, they were practically not even people by today's
You come
standards.
together for a united cause like World War II. I get it, right? I think almost any generation.
We were the last
that would be able to do that, because look at the Cold War. I mean, we were the last generation to really face the Cold War, to grow up in the Cold War, right? I mean, you know.
How do you think tensions with China compare to the tensions with Russia during?
I think our tensions with Russia are worse today than they were with them being the Soviet Union.
I could agree with that. I mean, again, honestly, World War II would have been lost without them. It's like to be made out that we're like the great heroes, and obviously had a huge part of World War II. But
either the United States or Russia, without one of us,
it would have been different.
It
would have been a lot different.
Yeah.
We would be doing this non-ironically.
This has been great. I got to be somewhere at 1, so I need to roll.
All right.
Thanks. Enjoyed it. It's hearing the Andrews. I don't know your maiden name.
Neuberger.
We hearing more about where things were and how they've progressed to where they are today. Interesting.
Any quick tidbits that you want to get across? Because I'm going to keep going as much as you guys may not want to. I still want to get through your...
I got to take another break.
Take a break.
Okay.
Maybe take a break.
So, yeah, we'll pick back up where we left off. We kind of got away from you traveling very early on, and we'll pick up like you in elementary school. I think that will be a good place to pick up. So,
yeah, thanks.
We'll be right back.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. Appreciate you making that.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
Bro, man.
Are we off?
Enjoyed it, man.
All right, we are back after a totally short, brief commercial break. We didn't have a tree fall on our fence in the backyard. You didn't have a meeting to take. We didn't lose a person, but nonetheless, picking up right where we left off, we were talking you leading up to elementary school, essentially, moving around. You had bounced around, starting in New Hampshire, ended up in Blytheville after. You had already had a brief stint in Germany, or is that still later to come?
That was after we lived in New York. We moved to Germany.
I didn't even know you lived in New York.
Yeah.
So when was that?
75 to... No, that'll be later than that. 76, because...
You were 4.
Were you there for the blizzard then?
Yeah, it was.
Because you lived right on the canals, correct?
We lived right off Erie Canal and before we moved onto the base there. And when the blizzard came, that was when we were on base, and it was, a ton of snow that you had to go out through the second floor window.
Okay, get out.
Even more snow because he was in the snow belt.
Yeah, just further north. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
further northeast.
And if you were really just on more the east side of Cleveland, that would also get much heavier snowfall because of the Lake Erie.
Correct.
Yeah. So you were in New York about the time you're 4 years old for roughly how long? Months and years?
No, for For 2 years.
So you started kindergarten there?
Yeah, I went to kindergarten in New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let me skip back a little bit. So when Nonnie and Poppa first got together, Nonnie was 18, I know. And how many years older was Poppa?
He's 5 years older.
5 years older, so he was 23. And basically, he was up in New Hampshire, went into the drugstore, the pharmacy, right, that she was working at, where you would go up to like a bar counter and get like a soft drink, right?
Yeah, like the soda. Back then, the drugstores had the soda fountains and stuff like that. Yeah. And with his Southern Georgian accent, he ordered a Coca-Cola with eyes, and they being Nonnie and
Poppa,
her friends made fun of him, well, Coke with some eyes, and so that's how they met.
And then how long after, so they met, and then they were like fairly quickly moving to Alaska, of all places. I mean, so going from this Yankee that's never met anyone like this Georgia Southern boy, that's Poppa, comes walking in, and then it's months later that they're packing up and
about
to
a
Alaska?
year, right? Because they got married in December of 1966, and got special dispensation from the church, right? Because you can't get married during Advent, but
that's so old school.
Yeah, because he had orders to go to Alaska from New Hampshire, right? And so Granny and Granddaddy did not attend the wedding, right? Because they were too old to do that kind of traveling, which the ages we are now,
Okay.
It's kind of like the Golden Girls, What
yeah, and so he, after they got married, then he went to Alaska, and then Nonnie traveled down to southern Georgia.
Good old Pelham.
Yeah, to go meet her new in-laws.
Yeah.
And live with them.
And it may not have come out the right way earlier, because I very much like George Foreman's philosophy. Like, he didn't teach his kids black, right? You're like a Nigerian, American, whatever. It's this kind of made up construct, right? And you can argue any sort of human idea, just by definition is. But she was just blown away by the house helper, that had to come in through the back door.
It started during her trip, right? So she took the bus, right? Back then, people took the bus,
Yeah.
And
told me this, yeah.
So going from Manchester, New Hampshire, all the way down to Georgia, the bus stops in Virginia, and she has to transfer buses. So she gets on and goes to the back of the bus, and most people doesn't think anything of it, right? Because most people,
hey, there's an empty seat.
I love the back of the bus, right? You go and you have the bench, and all that stuff. Well,
it's a cooler crowd back there.
Yeah, the bus would not leave, and
take that, Rosa Parks, eat your heart out. You have nothing on Judy Belcourt or Judy Andrews.
But yeah, she just didn't understand why they were making her move, and she's like, "No, I'm okay back here. I'm fine. I want to be back." No, no. So it was like, wait, this kind of shit exists. This top. So
not just something you hear about on the radio or on
right.
TV.
Yeah, and so it was a
a wake up call, yeah, like a just culture shock.
Culture shock, yeah, absolutely, yeah. You cross that Mason-Dixon line, and it's just, I mean, it's still like that today.
So, especially the more rural southern parts. I mean, again, we're in a bubble here in the North Metro, but so do you know more about like the formality of like the role title, like, because it's not like how we are taught in history, how there's indentured servitude, right? But I mean, kind of like one of our customers still has farm hands, out in his Alabama farm that they basically live on the farm, and then
I mean, like they were sharecroppers, right? I mean, I don't say we, but my folks.
Yeah, you're looking to pay reparations there.
My folks worked in the fields alongside of the other labor force and stuff,
But no, how?
But like the house attendant though, like, because she was there like day in, like sun up to sundown, right? Basically
you're taking care of somebody else's family first, or you're taking care of the white family before you take care of your own. And it is, right? And you're doing it for
multiple families in some cases.
Well, no, I mean that was their full-time job basically, and
do you remember if it was a quarter a day or a quarter a week or?
I don't know the exact amount, but it was not a lot, obviously, because Granny and Grand. They don't have.
They weren't people of means.
What's so funny? Because I had known that story. Other friends of us that were born down here in the South, and she's our age, had a person that came to her house and took care of the house. And
must have been nice. No.
I married one.
But okay, so. There's a culture shock for Nonnie,
and I mean, even then, right? It, like the blacks were expected to go around the back of the house, that they couldn't knock on the front door.
Even when I went down there in 1995, that was
a little bit. I mean, I think at that time it was just habit, or I don't want to say habit, but it was just
ingrained.
Ingrained, right? But
I just wanted to highlight, again, the kind of within the same country, like completely different worlds, literally having different first language, right? So then. Let's see, you're going into elementary school in New York, and then do you have any memories that stand out from your time in elementary school there? Any
tons. I have lots of memories.
I mean, a standout teacher or moment in class or getting in trouble?
Miss Salmon was my kindergarten teacher,
Salmon, double M, or like the fish?
Like the fish.
Okay.
And it was only half days. So you either went in the morning class or the afternoon class, and I was at the afternoon class. And I remembered the first day, Nonnie walked me to school. Right? I mean, we walked to school.
I did too.
And I just remember
that's coming back here. I see a lot more kids do that.
Bawling my eyes out, of course, and
never did that.
Oh, God, they're more alike.
But after school, I walked home by myself the first day, right? The first day, and then. The second day was, again, no problem. Walk to school with, friends. Actually, I think we even had the bus then. Well, it got colder, but that's when I sat with my girlfriend Cher. Her name was Cher, and
the one.
yeah, the one. And we were sitting in the back of the bus, and we kissed. And I remember the bus driver saying, "Hey, this isn't the love bug," and so that. But yeah, phew, I remember shit.
That elementary school, no.
Yeah.
All right, so where do you go after New York? What?
Well, so just a couple more memories of that. So, 1976, right? This was right before I started kindergarten, right? And it was the bicentennial, right? And so Tracy was in first grade, and they were doing a parade, right? A bicentennial parade. And so
for the maybe not as well versed folks, the country is 200 years old.
Yeah, at that point, yeah. So so Nonnie had made a Revolutionary era dress for Tracy, you know, back in those days.
I had one. Yeah, we did it. Yeah.
And so she also took an old polyester suit of mine and turned it into you know, like the garb back then, the knee high,
traditional,
and stuff. And so, you know, and I had, you know, again, we had toy guns back then that looked real. So I had a rifle, right, and the principal, right, saw me standing next to Nonnie and thought, you know, oh, how cute and all that stuff. Well, will you come lead the parade? So yeah, you know, lead
the parade.
Yeah, so I had, you know, you know,
Jim and I did that. Actually, I think. Did I join in on that train? But up at Mount Vernon, they had a little march, and you know, there's the quarter march, half, and the different speeds. Or whatever.
Double time.
Yeah, double time. That's quick.
Yeah. So, and again, I'm sure, you know, Tracy didn't like being overshadowed by her little brother or something like that, you know. But we were. Before we lived on base, we lived in a little trailer park, you know, Tuxedo Trailer Park, and that was on the Erie Canal, right? And Nonnie wasn't feeling well, right? And she was in the bathroom and stuff like that, and Tracy and I wanted to help Mom out, right, and make dinner and stuff like that. So Tracy and I decided, let's order Kentucky Fried Chicken, you know, because they delivered back then and all that stuff, right? So Tracy, who was always too shy to do anything, right? So.
But she was like outgoing as a really, really young kid, right? I thought she would like go to the store or walk when she was like 2 or something.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No. So I think I might have been 3 or 4 at the time, and I call, you know, we look up in the yellow pages.
You used the phone book again?
Yeah. We used the phone book. And I called up Kentucky Fried Chicken, and we placed an order for a bucket of chicken and stuff like that. The guy shows up at the door, and Nonnie's like, I didn't order any chicken. And but we did because we wanted to help you. And, you know, I can't pay for it. You know, she's like, I can't pay for it. And I'm saying, well, you can write a check. Well, you know, of course, you know, understand you have to have money in the bank to, but and so it was sort of embarrassing for her. But I mean, today, no one in their right mind is going to take an order from a fucking 3 or 4 year old on the phone.
No, but the equivalent that Josh and I got into was taking Dad's credit cards and going and buying or attempting to buy Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards on eBay.
Jesus.
And I was less than 5, and Josh
You were definitely less than 5. You were 3. Joshua was 5 because he was in kindergarten.
Yeah.
And you had spotted the cards, but you had to sign up for an eBay account. And Josh,
I can read.
Yeah. And I asked Josh, well, because I had to do it because Jacob doesn't know how to read. And I'm like, and all my credit cards were just strewn out. So I'm grabbing my credit cards and put them back in my wallet.
Yeah, but that was also, I guess, you talked about in the KFC sense with the phone book. Then it's my generation with eBay buying Pokemon cards using credit cards. And now it's you get mom and dad's phone and all the in-app purchases. You just start racking up. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, but... that was right, and again, like Tracy was, by the time she was like 1.5, was able to speak and hold conversations. Like it wasn't like baby talk, right? She was conversational, right? And then when I was 3, I'll say 3. Back then there were magazines, right? And like People and all that stuff, and
there were magazines when I was 3 as well, Padre.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, there's still magazines.
But inside them, you could order like flowers and stuff. It's just real.
It was like part magazine, part catalog.
Well, like at Christmas time, the big thing was the Sears catalog came out,
wish
and
book.
we would all.
No, you mean Toys R Us catalog, mother? That was the big one.
It was the Sears catalog.
The Sears
the
Christmas
4 cousins
wish book.
of us would sit there and go through
That was an
at Grandma
exciting
Gertie's
time.
house.
That was an exciting time when that came out.
Now, really
But
quick. Yeah.
Hold on. So, I remember being in that trailer, right, and reading Irma Bombeck, all right, who was a very famous comedian, a novel, not a novelist, but a writer, and all that stuff. She's hilarious, right? And
a woman? No.
yeah. And so, again, Tracy's, conversational. Here I am. I'm reading, again, Irma Bombeck and laughing, and I'm 3 years old. And like Nonnie does, she never knew where I learned how to read. It was just one
kind of
day.
innate, or through Tracy a little bit.
I suspect it's probably through Tracy.
Yeah.
And so.
And they spent time with Tracy to read, maybe, or she kind of.
Yeah, because Nonnie read.
Very educated, but she didn't go back to college until like later in life, right?
Until after I went to college, and but when I was in kindergarten, that's when, obviously, I.
You were ahead of the curve.
Yeah, by a great deal. So I had to go to like the 2nd grade and 3rd grade classes to go get my math and to go get
your girls.
Yeah. And then in 1st grade, that's when so I never technically, I technically never finished kindergarten, right? Because we moved to Germany in, I want to say, like just right after my birthday. So maybe
you would have been 5,
April or May, right?
You didn't finish.
And so
DNF.
Right. And, you know,
we're going to have a little Nikki on our hands. You're going to have to go back to elementary school.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Finish kindergarten. And so we go to Germany, you know, they, you know, put me in first grade and stuff. And they're like, well, you know, he needs to be probably in the third grade class. And Nonnie was like, no, he's not going to do well socially and all that. So
he's already not going to do
that. Like Jacob was so small. I'm sure that you were too.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you would have
we
been
already
like,
talked about the being late bloomers or a non-bloomer in Jacob's.
Still waiting.
So, you know, again, in kindergarten, did the, you know, help Mrs. Salmon grade papers, and in first grade, Mr. Koharian, he was a civilian, but you know, working on for base, on base as the
now,
teachers.
Was he German?
No, he was from Maine.
Okay, so let me just ask, because I don't know much. Did the Air Force or whatever hire?
Yeah, these were contractors, basically, right? These were, you know, and so he lived off base, right? Because he wasn't, you know, he wasn't in the military, right? Yeah. But he had an earring. Right, and the first day he had like a kimono and all that stuff, and
Mr. Garrison.
Well, and I asked, why do you have an earring? And you know, he said, well, because I used to be a pirate. Butt pirate maybe, but no. But swear to God, to this day, my
favorite teacher
because
gave you time of day and
I mean, he gave me the education that I needed.
Right
now, granted, he used me, but not in that way. But like story time, I read to the class, right?
Yeah.
Or when the kids were taking naps, he and I would stay up playing cribbage, right? And
one of the games Mom was referring to earlier, like being able to do math and just think quickly on your feet.
But he just. And he, you know, for spelling, used each word in a sentence and all that stuff, right? But of course, you know, this is where you got it probably, you know, I'm writing a fucking story, right? You know, and, you know, I wrote one based off of a episode of Phil Donahue I watched with Mom, right, you know.
And Phil Donahue
was a talk show host.
Got it.
And it was talking about, you know, a older brother who wanted a baby brother and all that stuff. So, and at that time, I mean, I knew the basics, right? I knew the basics of birds and bees, which everything has been payback, right?
Everything
has been
everything that you ever did, your sons have done back to you. Definitely.
That's right. So, you know, on the paper in red, see me, Jeff. But so, and stayed there. You know, stayed in. We left after my third grade year. Right.
Wait, really quick before we get too far. I remember also a story from about 3 years old with, the early days of video games, Atari, and the Elmo chair. Where was that?
Oh, yeah. That in Tuxedo Trailer Park. So Poppa brought home Atari Pong, right? You know, the first, and Of course, you know,
So that would be 1976.
1975.
Yeah. Okay, because that's when our TV came with it on there. I remember playing it.
And well, this you hooked up. You had the two things, leads that hooked to the to the UHF antenna, and well, you flip the button, all that. So anyhow, so this is when I have a temper, if you didn't know.
It did not pass on, thankfully.
Yeah. And so I had a little rocking chair, and I'd be bloop, 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 and it would beat me, right? And it beat me, and I had that chair, and Nonnie caught me right as I was about to smash that chair right into the TV.
You would have never saw the next day.
I almost didn't see, because, again, Tuxedo Trailer Park. For Christmas, Santa brought me a Good Humor ice cream truck, and this was, again, a ride type,
a Flintstone cart thing.
Flintstone cart, and it had the ice cream bucket, and it came with a strawberry, a vanilla, and a chocolate popsicle, right? And back then, toys were made out of wood and metal, right? Yeah. And this was a solid.
No injection molded plastics. What?
Yeah, this was a solid block of wood, and I was upset with Nonnie one day, and I just took that. I took one of the ice cream, and I just threw it at her. I mean, it buzzed her right in the forehead. I don't mean to laugh, because I instantly knew what I had done, and I instantly knew what was going to happen to me. And so, I mean,
you were not the last one laughing.
vividly, again, 4 years old, maybe, and I'm running to my bedroom. I had bunk beds, right? I did not use the ladder. I mean, I
jumped like a cat.
Yeah, I managed to get on that top bunk and get as far to the wall where she could not reach me, because she was coming out to me, and she was going to kill me. I mean, she was going to kill me. And
like cartoon-esque, yeah.
No. I think she would have ended up really murdering me.
I thought you were saying like about this ended up like cartoon-esque.
Yeah. It was a bloop. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But how did you get your payback?
Well, yeah.
We can get to that,
but
So, you're now leaving Germany at the end of third grade. You said.
Yeah.
And this is when you come to Blytheville for the first time?
For the second time.
For the second time. And that's where you were stationed the longest, like for any one period?
Well, not stationed the longest. We were there the longest because,
that's where you ended up
Poppa,
retiring.
Yeah. So, start fourth grade, and, they put us in our reading classes and all this stuff. And so, I'm there, they pass out the books, and
Read it.
yeah, I was like, I read this book. Okay. All right. So they put me into, and I don't know why, they didn't look at my records, right? Because then they put me into the next highest, right? They passed out the book.
Read it.
I read it. So they put me in the top of the,
the top reading class at the school.
The top reading class at the school. Pass out the book. I read it. You couldn't have. I'm like, yes. I was like, there are 2 stories about Encyclopedia Brown, doing this, and I just went through and
laid it out.
They're like,
and there's no cliff notes that you could have.
Right, I mean, and so again, it was And that's when, but by the time I got like in the 7th grade and stuff, I was done.
Like trying at school.
Trying at school because I wanted to be a regular classmate, right? You know, I had to go to, first of all, I had to go out of classes to get the more advanced classes, and then I'd be pulled out of class to, go to speech therapy, because I stuttered and all that. And I was just tired of being fucking pulled out of class, right? And
that was kind of similar to me. I mean, doing the honors, I was always like, especially in elementary school and then middle school, it's like, why am I taking advanced math? I'm doing extra math and what I have to do.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look, by the time I got to high school, I mean, it's a curse and a blessing because
it came so naturally.
It came so natural, right? I mean, I never brought a book home, right? I never studied. And by the time, I go to college, right? Guess what? People like me, there are a dime a dozen. Right? So
you're hot shot in Blytheville, Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm big. I'm king shit of Turd Island, right? But boy, go to a bigger ocean, and I'm just another small fish. And
let's give credit where credit is due. King shit of Turd Island, a term of endearment, let's say, from Papa Jyl, often to describe me growing up, very aptly so.
And so, in college. It was a wake up call. It was my wake up.
Well,
call.
Outside of school, but still growing up, I know one activity or pastime you had was skateboarding. When did skateboarding first come into your life?
8th grade.
8th grade, and were you already playing soccer by then as well?
Oh yeah. I started playing soccer in Germany. Right?
And so basically, like. Whatever, more formal than YMCA here, like I started 3-4, but you were at 3-4 similarly playing
5.
5, okay.
Yeah, 5 or 6, because they tried put me in football, in the peewee football. Right?
Peewee football.
Yeah, I was a peewee, but I didn't understand, and I get.
You're already covered in communism, living in Germany.
The thing is, I would tackle anybody, right? and no, you can't tackle me. Why? I thought, I didn't get the you can only tackle the guy that has the football and so But so it was just a bunch of stupid rules that I didn't, I didn't get. And although I do remember playing t-ball, right? And and I grew up playing baseball, and I remember my first game, I hit the ball and I start running to third base. and they're like, no, you need to run to first base. And
you just cut across.
I cut across the field. And then, so we were at Ramstein Air Force Base playing a baseball game, right? And, because at that time you can go from base to base and play their teams and stuff like that. And one of the parents was taunting that's not taunting, was giving their kid, basically talking about me. Yeah. Check out that Pee-wee. He's going to be an easy out, blah, blah, blah. And so
this all makes so much sense. You being a coach, it all comes back.
And so might be in first grade at this point. And so I'm standing on first base because, right, I had no strike zone, right? So I always walked, right? I always got walked to first base. And so she's just saying, get him out, he's just a pipsqueak. And I looked back at her and I went, like that. When I kiss my ass, I got ejected. I got ejected out of the game.
Ball.
Well, this was pitch. This was the first pitch.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
because.
Yeah.
And
for there to be balls, that would make sense.
And boy, Nonnie was so embarrassed.
I guess let me jump really quick, Mom. I know you're a tomboy, growing up, but was there really much, if any, organized girls' sports then? And if so, did you ever do any?
I tried soccer. I did play volleyball in high school. I was a good bench warmer. I just do not have hand-eye coordination to really be
in the sports ball.
Yeah.
Or rhythm.
And I'm rhythm and tone impaired, yes.
You can dance.
I could dance if I want to.
I can leave your friends behind. All right, so you got into skateboarding, though. I wanted to get into that. What was the impetus there? You had just friends that already into skateboarding? Were you like the trendsetter there?
In Arkansas at that time, I was probably one of the trendsetters. Yeah.
He always went to the beat of his own drum.
Yeah.
Paving my own way.
That's right. Because, I didn't conform. Right?
Yeah, it was like all these other kids, are retards. Why would I want to be like them? Yeah. Why wouldn't you want to do what you think is fun? Right. And so, so the night before the last day of school, right? Now keep this in mind, 8th grade, the night before the last day of school, I'm on my skateboard and Scott, our neighbor, I'm on my skateboard, he's on his bike, and we went to Junior Food Mart, right, to go play video games, pop quarters in, stand at someplace, and we're coming back home, and, there are no sidewalks and stuff there, so we're on the shoulder of the road, and he's riding the bike, and I'm holding onto a rope on my skateboard, right? Gerardo, sounds familiar.
And this bimbo pulls out and starts driving on the shoulder of the road, and Scott swerves right on his bike, and I hold up my hand out, and boom, and she fucking hits me and broke my arm. And so last day of school, I'm going to the last day of school with a fucking cast, and
going into the summer.
Basically can't do fucking shit because some bimbo doesn't know how to fucking drive.
Saudi Arabia had it
Was
so
it your
good
sister?
And they fucked it up.
Was it your sister?
Was it my sister? Yeah.
So, you got in that skateboarding accident. When was the story of, was it a half pipe, quarter pipe?
No, it was a half pipe.
And that was high school, right? Or
that was high school, junior year high school. Well, the summer between my junior and senior year of high school. It might have been a year, might have been before
sophomore and
junior. Either way, no one
had a place to skate other than the roads,
right? And so we just get together and put money into a pot and go down to the local lumber yard and get board by board and bring it home, and take us about 2 days or so.
I was about to say, like, what sort of transportation did you guys have to get the boards back? Skateboarding?
Well, I had the car, right?
Okay.
Well,
and kind of we fast forward to something interesting in the same way my mom got grandfathered in on drinking, you were able to legally start driving at 13, right? Or 14?
You get your permit at 13,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. But that was because it's an agriculture,
area.
Yeah. And so kids would have to help drive tractors and stuff like that.
And be able to legally do so.
Yeah.
But when did you start doing your delivery route? Because you were also doing, for Subway, doing deliveries, right?
Yeah. So that was my senior year
of high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I worked.
We were both hard working.
Yeah.
We started working very young.
I worked delivering subs. I worked at the commissary bagging groceries, and I did lawns.
Oh, he was bagging.
Didn't you also work at McDonald's at one time?
Well, that was sophomore year, and I only did that for a few months until my name got called up.
More than Kamala Harris, she's never worked at McDonald's a day in her
and the day they called me up to be a bagger at the commissary, man, I'm like, see ya. I dropped the mic because
dropped the fry
there was
basket.
no 2 weeks notice.
I gave it 2 weeks, but that was the job to have. And on my 14th birthday, that's when I went up to the commissary and I put my name on the list. So it took 2 years to get called up, because it was tips only, right? And for those of you who do not know, the commissary is basically the grocery store on base, right? And the baggers were, all
young boys,
teenagers, all teenagers. But during the day, there was a lot of
housewives.
And so a lot of the
Mrs., let me help you with your groceries.
Well, the thing is, military, a lot of foreign wives, right? Thai, Vietnamese, or that's and so so when I was in my senior year, right? Surprise, I had all the credits I needed, so I didn't have to go to school the full day. And so after lunch, right, I'd go eat lunch and I'd head on and go to the commissary, and I work, and that's when Su Fong would bring me, her Thai dishes, and I just, the curries, and the Vietnamese, the Filipino dishes like the lumpia, I just, I got fed well.
I didn't realize or remember that you got out of school early your senior year.
Yeah.
Now, I only went for 4 periods of my senior year, and then I was supposed to go off to the college because they didn't have a program at that time
for work-based learning.
I was not in the work-based part. I just I needed to take English and U.S. government. That's the only classes that I needed to take for my senior year. So I got out early and went and worked and was supposed to go to my college classes, and there's the incompletes. But the 3 of us together, I think we're all just aiming to get out.
Yeah.
Why put any more time in than you have to?
Yeah. I again brought up the whole Ronald Reagan quote. He was talking with Jay Leno, and Ronald Reagan was asking Jay Leno how he was as a student in school. And Jay Leno, I wasn't never a great student, and how about you? And Ronald's like, yeah, same here. I always wonder what would have happened if I just had applied myself, and ends up president. But
well, we were very fortunate because, again, right, that was Francis Bellamy might have been a civilian school, but the other bases, those schools, the schools were on base. Well, the schools were on base. So this one was not, because for the government, it was just cheaper,
more economical to keep the school that was already there. And
that's right. So you pay the school, I want to say
X
it was $24,000 a year per head, right? So you've got this school in Northeast Arkansas that has, a radio station, a TV station. I mean,
just imagine if a Siamese kid went there. $48,000 for the one.
You just had really the
state of the art for, especially around
and
that
the best
area.
teachers also, right? Because all of the best teachers,
they know where the more lucrative,
exactly,
opportunity, and or at least more guaranteed, longer term.
And so, so I'm pretty fortunate that I'm.
So, you witnessed the base close then, right?
Yeah.
You were living there in Blytheville?
I was in college as it was being shut down,
Okay, another quick question. When was your father over in England, and how long was he in England where it was just your mom, you, and Tracy?
So the middle of my 5th grade year to I want to say 8th grade.
I was about to say.
And then he
2
came
years.
home and he retired, right?
No, then he went and did his final duty in Ogden, Utah at Hill Air Force Base.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so there was a period that, like 4 years, that he basically wasn't with y'all.
Oh, I'd say 3 years. Yeah.
And for almost a continuous stretch, right? And that's it again. I know we've had some, but could you imagine that? None of us have gone through what he had to go through as well, being away from his family. And, obviously, to that degree, past his first 4 years or whatever, it's a choice. But, that was also a sacrifice that he was made to some degree, right? It was his best option, but it was still.
Yeah, if he wanted to stay married, it was. Yeah, again,
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Well, Poppa was dealing with the demons he had, and Nonnie just didn't want to have to go
the one that
back overseas, right? Because we had just came back from Germany, and then within a few months, he got orders to go to England, and we're like,
it was too much.
Yeah.
And Tracy had a hard time.
I could imagine, again, the whole idea of that sort of military family dynamic. There's
and if you look at my childhood, basically, I was in the similar boat, but it wasn't military. It was a divorce and couldn't afford housing and would move. And
I think I was the rare kid that wished their parents get divorced. Yeah.
But no, my I gave you my move around, but I don't think I was ever traumatized by that. I just always looked at it as a new venture.
But see, again, going back to the Gen X, right?
Just resilient. Yeah.
But your sister did not do well with the transition.
In general, we. Still think our childhoods were pretty great, because
all the beatings, all the movies,
whatever, right? We
I had none of those.
But I basically left you guys for what, 2 years?
Yeah, go live up in Ohio but it wasn't like a continuous stretch. Yeah. But it was many months, and then then you would come home maybe even just for a few weeks, and then be gone for another.
But he was in high school.
Right.
Yeah. He graduated. He was graduating. I left you.
Yeah. But she came back.
But no, I mean, you do what you got to do in life.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't regret anything that I've done. I mean, our story. No, I don't regret you. I'm like, I think, what the hell was I thinking about having kids sometimes? But I still don't regret it. I love you and your brother. And
some days, most days. No. Well, let's keep on track here as much as we can. So, you build the half pipe, or was it a quarter pipe?
No, it was a half pipe. It was a mini half pipe.
And again, this is at 105 Terrace Drive, right? Yeah. So, sorry whoever lives there now, but this is in Gosnell, Arkansas. It's like...
It was a massive structure. Yeah. It was a massive structure, yeah. And here's the funny thing, right? Because it took us a couple days to build, right? But Nonnie and Poppa really didn't realize anything until...
You guys were riding it.
Exactly. It's like...
Okay, how long after that you built it did you break something? Or someone broke something, a bone?
Nobody.
No one ever broke a bone?
Nope. No, but you guys had to take it down, right? Fairly.
Oh, no.
Oh, really?
That thing didn't come down until I went off to college and Poppa used the wood and built the shed.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, he built the shed. Yeah.
Not the last shed that you saw.
Okay.
It was a shed prior to.
Yeah. All right. Well, I was going to say, Under the Shed, rest in peace, Duke and Patches and Max. And
no, Max is,
other side.
With...
I don't know if I sent Max there, did I?
I think he's in the case.
Oh, okay. Max is with Poppa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so then you go to college. Any actually closing out high school, any other standout experiences that... You're just ready to get out.
Any great photo shoots or shots?
So, me and a buddy were skateboarding at the hospital in Blytheville, right? Because the parking lot was really nice and stuff like that, right? And this is the basis for my Tony Hawk story for you. So, we're skating, and all of a sudden, coming out of the hospital were Lance Mullen,
Ronnie Mullen?
Yeah. Ronnie, I mean, just the Bones Brigade.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like,
what was his name? Jay, Stacy Peralta.
Maybe not Stacy Peralta, a little older, but, and, hell, I even invited them to
your backyard.
Yeah, but
to my half pipe. You want to come skate my half pipe?
But they would be known to do that, but they had to go
another obligation.
Yeah, and stuff like that. And it was not Lance Armstrong. Oh my God, freaking names, Lance
Mountain?
Lance Mountain, yeah.
The Bones Brigade.
Yeah. It was Lance Mountain. He got food poisoning from eating at Stuckey's on I-55. Yeah. And
Stuckey's? Did that have any relation to the candy bar Stuckey's?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, that they would sell the peanut brittle stuff.
Okay,
yeah. And
the lady that it was her grandfather or something or maybe her dad that started it, but she's out there and kind of reviving the brand, had a corporate lawyer, sort of job, and she was like, you know what? She hated seeing how the brand had declined and just taking it over, and very cool.
But so that was the basis of the story of teaching Tony Hawk
how to skate. Yeah. And I would like to get to that, but we might have to do a part 2 if we are kind of short for time. But the upbringing will be part 2. But the whole Tony Hawk story, really quick, is kind of pre-Google. Google might have been around, but it definitely wasn't what what it is today. Yeah, I was going to say Ask Jeeves was the primary search engine that at least I and most people I knew back in elementary school were using, and probably from the time I was in kindergarten all the way through 5th grade. And I was finally able to then look at Google and see Tony Hawk was older than my dad. But I was like telling kids, yeah, my dad, he used to skateboard. He taught Tony Hawk how to skate, and, hook, line, and sinker. And
it runs in their family. Wasn't Nonnie a Power Ranger?
Pink Power Ranger.
Yeah. and because Meme was a prima ballerina, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
everyone has their alter.
And
we
I
always
really
do the
think
far-fetched stories.
I think you get your temperament and your
passion
is Meme. She died right before you were born. You're the only one in the family besides her that was AB positive.
Nice.
So I've always felt that she came back relatively quickly and reincarnated in you.
Well, she...
Because I was pregnant with you when she passed.
You guys got along, and
I never met Meme.
Okay. I thought...
we shared the same birthday.
Really? June 5th?
Yes.
Wow.
And here's something ironic, too. Like, my 2 best friends from high school, right? Their birthdays are March 10th and August 6th.
Was it was it Colin? No.
Colin?
No. He was from college. I'm talking high school, right?
Who was it?
Yeah.
Jeff Bass was March 10th.
Okay.
And Hippo was
August
6th.
That is crazy.
All right, so...
and where were we when we first felt Josh kick? Whose house were we at? Was that Hippo's, right?
No, I think that was at Jeff Bass's. I mean, Hippo was there.
Right.
Yeah, but we're at Jeff's house, I think. Yeah.
All right, so... leading up to where we'll pick up with part 2, maybe a couple months or so down the road, give you guys a break of hearing me talk, at least in this formal of a capacity. You got into college, and we had kind of glossed over this earlier. You were looking at potentially going into the military, had the conversation with Poppa, where he gave you his words of advice, words of wisdom. How did Wichita State come to be? Why Wichita State, I guess?
Because I wanted to be a car designer.
I thought it was the airplane.
No, I wanted to design cars.
Well, he did aerospace engineering, but that would be for design, like aerodynamics of a car.
Right.
Okay, so maybe that's where I got
and so I went to study aerospace, and the 3 top schools at the time were Purdue, Embry-Riddle, right? Which
This sounds like a current list.
Yeah, and Wichita State had the top 3 programs, and so Embry-Riddle would be like way too expensive because it's
Embry-Riddle,
yeah,
private,
and then Purdue. I mean, it's
similar.
It's similar, right? And so did Wichita.
And now there was obviously very fortunate. Josh and I both threw it away. Like, fuck you guys for choosing the great state of Georgia with a Hope Scholarship. But there's nothing like that for you, right? I mean, and didn't have the same, parents of means that could help. Right. And so, I mean.
So, shit. I had my engineering scholarship, right, which paid for a good portion of it, right? And then when we got there, I found out that you could pay in-state tuition if
you changed like your driver's license?
No,
or
if you were in the military, if you were a member of the military.
I was going to ask if you had any sort of military benefits.
I mean, the thing is, I don't have a home state, right? And so, so that basically, the engineering scholarship basically covered stuff, right? And so we would have the out-of-pocket expenses were for like
rent?
Dorms and rent. Yeah. So,
and so you had the one scholarship, the engineering scholarship, and is that the one you had to go pick up from the library? And like, again, this would be a hypothetical story, right? But
no. That was because, one of the classes I was taking as
elective?
No, it was a required class, and it was thermodynamics. I think, it was, and there was programming involved, right? And I mean, I got my work done, right?
Yeah.
And all my classmates were struggling, and so the instructor at the time said, have you ever considered computer science? Because he's like, aerospace, it's
a dying industry at that time, especially.
Well, it's again, because can you name me a full-time aerospace engineer? You look at Mark Rober, right? He got hired to do the rover.
Design. Well, really.
But after the project's done, we don't need you anymore. Well, how many times are you going to design the 747, the 777, right? So
unless you're a Burt Rutan,
right? So I went into computer science, which was not in the engineering school, right? And because I didn't have parents
that knew,
right? Because they didn't go to college, right? Like a dumbass, I announced and declared my major change, which means,
there goes your scholarship.
There goes my scholarship. So,
and if you would have played it smart, you would have finished everything you could in engineering.
That's right.
All the overlap.
Take all the overlapping classes, which there were
a lot.
Like all my math classes.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I still have, a minor in math.
So and
through it,
you're going through Wichita State round 1, right? And this would be what years? I mean, definitely pre-95, right? So like 92?
The fall of 90 through the summer of 94.
Oh, wow. So I actually met you like
right after.
Yeah. Right after.
Yeah.
But so that's your first run through. But you were like what, one semester away from graduating or something?
1 year.
1 year. So.
Yeah. Because of because I lost a year in the declaration change, right?
Got it. Yeah. And now you talked about like not having like the sort of studying habits, but you were kind of natural when it came to computer science. Like, do you know like where that came from? Just always, to whatever degree you had access to them, just kind of gravitating towards computers, or?
Yes. So I want to say in 6th grade, for Christmas, I got a TRS-80 Color 3. Again, you hook it up to your TV and stuff, and it had 16K of memory, and had my little
Well, could you believe that? 16?
Had my cassette player, right, that you plug in, because if you wanted to save anything, it was going to be on a cassette tape, right?
Yep, pre-floppy.
Yep. And
That's a great example, because my work in the drone space, I make a lot of analogies to the early days of the personal computer industry. And of course, my head thinks of more modern peripherals. And I should bring back before there was built-in storage, you would have a cassette as an add-on to your base computer, right? And that's kind of what we're doing with our drones.
So, again, not to insult people, but at that time, the home computer, right, was just used as another gaming console, right. So
I played solitaire, or I played games.
That's still for a lot of people.
Yeah, you get your games and all that stuff, and I wanted to make my own games. I wanted to do, and so I'd get on my bike, right up to the base library, go check out books on BASIC, and I learned how to program in BASIC on my own and stuff. And so I made a music composer, right? And of course, all you had was the fucking beep, so
how many times you can use that same beep?
And then a blackjack game. Yeah, basic blackjack game.
So some of these recent projects, so they have a history.
Yeah. So,
so you into computers, but you mentioned music, right? And that's something obviously has been a big part of your life. For most of my life. But when did that come into your life? I guess when did you first pick up the guitar? And I know there was a brief period where I guess a lot of my early childhood you didn't play, but you picked it up early on, right? Somewhat.
So my first guitar I got was when I was 5 years old, and our next door neighbor, she played, and I remember getting a couple of lessons from her, and then I think we got the orders to move to Germany and stuff, right?
The guitar didn't make it.
The guitar did not make it. My army men made it, but not my guitar.
Priorities, yeah. And space. Mostly space.
Let me tell you, my travel suitcase, right, was nothing. I had a ton of army men. And so carrying them on through the airports, and it was. I'll get it.
Show and tell. All right.
Yeah. The only two things in that.
We'll be right back.
Can't hear you.
That's fine. Isn't this so great, Mother? Aren't you having the time of your life?
The time I'm sitting there thinking what I could be doing instead of talking to you and getting done.
The same could be said otherwise.
Were my army
Oh
men.
my gosh, I forgot about this guy.
The only two things in that bag.
Henry, yeah, that's right.
Was my army men and Henry. And Henry is as old as I am.
I was about to say, is this the original Henry?
That's the original Henry.
Wow.
And
that's pretty incredible.
This was Christmas of 1972. And this was from Uncle Bob and Aunt Donna. So, and the other day, whatever happened, he fell off the shelf, and I noticed him out. Yeah.
Davey is like a new Lammy. Lammy looks different.
But yeah.
Lammy went trans.
Henry, he's so cute. Yeah. That day I threw the ice cream at Nonnie, boy, I just remember I was holding on. I was just back in that corner on that top bunk with Henry.
Good old Henry. Yeah. All right. Now you got into music, and you picked that back up when after you left it going to Germany.
So then in 6th grade, they offered band, right? And I wanted to join band because I wanted to play the saxophone.
More so the skin flute, am I right?
Yeah, but ended up being first chair kazoo. But
the world's never seen a better kazoo player since.
I did, because we couldn't afford the saxophone. It was a couple $100 more.
So that's why we have one now, to make up for your childhood.
That's right.
We have way too many instruments in one house.
Yeah.
Dad would say not enough guitars. No.
Yeah, I was going to say not enough instruments.
We used to have a piano.
A drum set, an electric drum set.
I mean, so foundationally, I learned music, in 5th grade music class, right?
I played an instrument in 5th grade.
Right. Huh?
I played a clarinet.
Yeah, I know.
Not very well. It was always broken according to the teacher, and we take it to the store to be fixed, and they're like, there's nothing wrong with it.
But
I did take the hit, and then they put me, because I was in a band choir class, they put me in choir.
Sorry.
So
Sorry, everybody that had to listen, but I really didn't sing.
On Poppa's side of the family, as you know, his sister,
Jane.
Yeah, all my cousins, they're like musicians,
In the true sense?
No, I mean, they're really good musicians.
That's what I'm saying, in true sense, not unlike you that
dabbles. Not.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm a dabbler.
Dad is definitely competent. Yeah, very competent.
I just busting chops because of envy of what I can't do.
Yeah.
But I do think it's that side of the family that really did get me into music, and then, when Poppa came home to retire, he had started playing guitar in England or something like that. So he, brought his guitar and
They'd sit around the campfire and sing them campfire songs.
I hate to say it, but I picked it up, taught myself basically, and then taught him a couple of things.
And a little here and there throughout a good part of his life. Yeah.
And so,
someone that was never considered musical or considered themselves musical, that's recently, in the last couple years or so, picked up the guitar and apparently shreds. Howard Stern.
Howard Stern,
he never, considered himself musically talented or even able, and then just kind of got into it the last couple years.
Conan O'Brien's,
Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah. I've watched him play, man. Yeah, I was like, damn, man. He someone on Shark Tank, and these guys were schlepping a special pick that, right, and I forget, but
what was so special about it?
Yeah. And Mr. Wonderful, he got, was invited up, and it was like, okay, all right, boys, a 16 bars blues in F, right? I mean, but he's calling out, it's like, shit, the guy's a legit musician, right? So.
All right. So again, we can get back into music in a later part too, but wrapping it up with now, you're at the end of your first term of college. How do you end up in, is it Ohio, right? What part of Ohio that you're working a job?
Oh, and I remember what I used to do to always show Nonnie. Look, Mommy, there's Henry's penis. I did that in front of her friends. She was so embarrassed. I remember that. Yeah.
And it's
so how
funny.
did you meet Ken and get to Ken to work with them?
Yeah, in college, Tracy and his girlfriend at the time were dorm, I don't want to say roommates, but I think they stayed in the same dorm or what have you. Tracy followed me to college, right? Yeah.
So that's how you met Ken, and that's when Did he graduate then?
No.
He went to work with his dad?
No, he went to go work at Seco. It was based in Wichita first, and then all of them moved to Conyers.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then from there, I worked in a mail order pharmacy, and we were building a new building with what is that called? The track.
A conveyor?
The conveyor that would stop at certain stations to fill prescriptions.
So this is like a longer form of what you would see at a grocery store, like bringing the...
It's a mail order pharmacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was like back end, not customer facing. This was like part of...
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's all fulfillment.
Yeah.
All fulfillment.
And I met him there. And the gracious person that I am, I always, anytime we had contractors.
Yeah, let me slow this down a little bit. So you are at Wichita State University, and you're doing well in computer science, right? And you start working a computer science job while you're in school. Is that correct?
No. I finished the last semester, and
finished, like not for the degree.
Right. Because I'm out of money.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, how am I'm not eligible for
you
any
couldn't print yourself
program.
any more checks.
Yeah.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, hypothetically. So I was sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
No more attics to sleep in.
No more attics to squat in. But yeah, so Ken, was.
And who's this Ken guy? How did?
Yeah, the boyfriend of Tracy's dorm.
Got it.
Yeah. He got me he got me the job, and came down and moved to Conyers July
94.
Yeah, July 94 came right after Independence Day, because I also was there I was stopped in Blytheville, right? And those were right at the end of the World Cup. Got to watch the U.S. tie Brazil and stuff, right? So,
And I met you in September of '94.
Not blow it too.
I met you in September of '94.
You met me in August of '94.
Okay, so 2 months after he left college.
And so, but you started working with Ken, and these were jobs that you would have to travel around to, basically. Like, hey, we have a customer, their system, like a conveyor. Would they always be different conveyor systems? Yeah. So this was like, I guess, the company that Ken got you in at. This was one of their products.
He was a co-founder.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
And so these conveyor systems were like a product or a solution they offered, and you were part of like the support technician sort of team.
We would design. We would design the conveyor systems, and we would be the ones responsible for programming all of the PLCs.
And you only worked for them for like a year.
Not even a year. Yeah.
Just enough, right?
Yeah. No. I'll tell you, I mean, I learned a lot on that job. I mean, I learned a lot. Stuff that, school wouldn't even begin
to scratch the surface
of and stuff like that. But
all right, so you start working that job, and you, after Wichita, where was home base for you? That was Conyers. Is that what we just established?
Yeah, Conyers and Covington.
And why? That's just like where they were based out of?
That's where they were. Yeah.
Okay. and you found an apartment down here that you're now able to afford because you had a paying job? Or
I lived with Ken
in a house.
Okay.
Within a house because it just made sense. We weren't ever home, right? I mean, so but then I did move out on my own. Got an apartment.
Like April of 95? March, April of 95.
No, it was even before that. It was before that because you were coming to visit in January of 95.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I want to say maybe...
You were still moving in and out because I remember going to that house.
Yeah. I was still moving in and out, I guess.
Because you didn't even have any furniture.
I didn't
you
have
went
any
furniture.
Yeah, I went and bought furniture for you. Yeah.
And we had to even go to Walmart and buy sheets.
Oh, yeah. Boy.
The rug burn.
Yeah, man. New sheets. Boy.
Always wash new sheets before putting them on the bed.
Well, at least.
Or making use of them.
Yeah, making use of them.
And not for sleeping. Yeah.
Wash your sheets before you have to wash your sheets, okay? All right.
That was horrible.
God, man, I was so tired the next morning. No sleep.
Now, so this is, you guys already met by then. You went up there, you said what month of August of 94? You got sent up to Cleveland, Ohio outskirts?
North Royalton.
North Royalton? No need to cry. I mean, I know this is emotional. So, and give me your perspective. So how did you end up at this place?
Okay. I was working at the Leary Mediclinic, front staff receptionist. And then this place came in, IPS, Immediate Pharmaceutical Services. And what they did is they serviced your average prescriptions you would need at a med clinic. Like some low-grade pain, antibiotics, that kind of stuff, blood pressure medicine. And it was already prepackaged and everything. That way it could be filled right there, and you didn't have to go to a pharmacy.
It's kind of like a compounding pharmacy. I don't know.
Almost. But then I was getting married, and I wanted something different. And I interviewed, they loved me when they came in and had to do their stuff there, because I ended up working back in the pharmacy section. And from that, I went and worked with IPS. I had my own little storefront in Drug Mart. I took blood pressures. I helped people buy stuff for glucose machines, their colostomy, whatever. Started reading a lot there because it was a long day and sometimes no customers. Auntie B would come in and sit with me on Wednesdays. And then they closed my little section of the store, and I went and worked in the back just filling prescriptions for mail order pharmacy and was a pharmacy tech.
And you ever get any mail order bride orders?
No. And I was working there in Brunswick, and I lived in Cleveland because I originally worked in Independence and lived in Cleveland, which wasn't too far. And then our mail order was getting bigger and bigger, and they bought a new facility. Well, Drug Mart had built another Drug Mart and built a facility to cover this. And it was, bigger than our main level.
Yeah.
The conveyor system in the pharmacy area was huge.
Huge.
And when we were brought over, Dad had already been working there a little bit. And then we were brought over and we were doing our portion. And we would go out to lunch one person would go pick up lunch and bring it back for everybody. or the girls and us would do something after work. And I would always ask them, any contractor, not just Dad. There was a couple other people that were also there. And I would ask, hey, we're going out to lunch. Do you want anything from Mr. Hero? Do you want anything from this, you know?
Mr. Hero, yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And I would always just be welcome them, you know, treat them like they were part of our facility. We didn't treat them. And one of the guys that was a contractor for a long, long time had said, I've never been treated like we were.
Part of the installation
Right.
location.
We were just always background and never even thought about.
It's kind of like working at Best Buy, you know, like the warehouse people. It's like, you know, it's part of the same team, same organization, but they would actually come from, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I met Dad. He was working there, and he was warned that I was nothing but trouble.
In what context? Like you were just like a flirt, and you know, like
I was a bitch.
Oh, okay. I mean, was. Yeah.
There was a pharmacist
no, queen,
there.
Queen bitch. Please don't hurt me.
Dick something or another.
Yeah.
And he was.
We won't say last names to protect.
I don't remember his last name anyway. So he was working there.
Dicks don't need last names.
And he wasn't liked by any of us girls. And I think he was the last resort of as a pharmacist, even there, because he had worn out his welcome at a lot of other drug marts. And he only wanted to be called Dick, and even though his name was Richard. And we had an intercom system, and I would call him Richard. And he's the one that told Dad that I was trouble.
Now, I mean, you were, right? Because originally, and maybe you can flesh this out, maybe both perspectives, you tried to set Dad up with your sister you don't like, Jay, right? How did that come about? You're like, this guy, he's like, he looks like he could be my son.
I really liked him, and we ended up talking for a long time and just being friends. And then things...
Men and women can't be friends now.
We couldn't.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't want no fucking friendship.
And I was married.
Yeah.
Didn't stop me.
And I didn't care.
Yeah.
And...
But more of a challenge, all right.
We had gone out to a couple places as a group and stuffed that away. A cue stick cracked against the shin, maybe, and he still had googly eyes for me. I don't know. He had given me his Sprint card for his phone number so I can call him, and I would go to...
Glad you finished that with Sprint card.
As a...
Oh.
And I would call him at a phone booth. Go to...
Yeah. The best thing was they were like a month behind schedule. I think maybe even 2 months behind schedule because the company that sold them the actual automated pill dispenser, right? They could not get that to work. And
I remember. I know what the guy looks like. I can't remember his name.
Oh, I remember his name. Hal.
Oh, yeah.
like
And so,
from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe my favorite sitcom.
And so, I mean, I couldn't stay there anymore, right? I had to come back home and
go to the next job.
You know, and start on the.
Well, wait, I think there's more work to be done.
But so then,
Bob Marks.
Bob. Yeah, you can't say last names. Anyhow.
Why? It's a good story. He's a good guy. He's not an evil person in this story.
He said, before I go, you know, can I maybe look at this? And I'm like, well, you know, it's not our system and blah, 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 blah. And so he's like, man, just, you know, please, you know, and he calls, you know, he's at least talked to the guy, you know, so, you know, I was like, okay, all right. So he calls the guy over and, you know, he's like, well, this is what's happening, blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, all right, show me the code, right? So he brings up the code, and I'm like, you're not providing null termination on the string, and so this, looks like it'll be a buffer overflow, and so overriding memory. He's like, oh, I should have saw that. So did that. He uploads the code, and then we start the
conveyor.
Yeah, and so the tag reads, gets routed to the pill dispenser. Ding. Move on, and Bob, he comes up to me and hugs me and stuff like that, and so now I can stay longer to do more testing and all that stuff, and
how long were you up there for, like, at a time, or for, like, was it this one trip?
A couple weeks.
A couple weeks, one trip.
Yeah, and
but you had several trips.
Yeah, I had several trips, and so. Like the next day, I'm all set to go for lunch, and I ask her if she'd like to join me, and she's like, well, I only get a half hour and stuff like that. So I'm like, come on. So we start to walk out. I stop at Bob's office. Hey, I'm going to lunch. Jill's coming with me. You're not going to dock her the extra half hour, right? He's like, nope.
All right.
Yeah.
And then you got Mom to pay for lunch, right?
But then everybody's like, oh, where do you go for lunch and stuff? And I would just tell them the Red Rough Inn, because that's what they wanted to hear,
right.
Even though we didn't.
And so you guys went out for lunch, and that was like not a first date, but well, in your mind, yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't call it a date.
Yeah.
It was
just grabbing lunch with essentially a coworker, but
no,
okay.
dude. I only had one thing on my mind. I only had one thing, and this was just me. Increasing,
part of the,
trying
Ramping
to
up.
work towards the end goal. Trying to work to the end goal, because your mom was fine. I mean, damn, she was fine.
What do you mean was, Dad?
Well,
she's a beautiful.
Yeah, she's still beautiful, but she was fine. Okay.
Hey, yeah, Josh, don't you know you're interrupting a podcast, dude?
I will always answer my phone for my kids.
Yeah, number one mom. That's what you saw in Mom. You just knew she was going to be a great mother.
Yeah.
Just happened out. You got very, 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 very lucky in that regard.
That's right.
All right. So you guys go out to that lunch, and then what really how's it progressed from there?
We went out a couple times on our own.
Yeah, but that was like my second trip.
Yeah.
So how does it go from like, hey, I'm enjoying, these lunches. Is it something like that? I'm enjoying these lunches. Can I take you out somewhere else, or?
So like the next time I go up there.
Is that when we go to Senior Frog?
That's when we went to Senior Frogs, and as a group. Right, I mean, it was like a Thursday night.
It's not gay if it's in a
night.
three-way. Am I right?
I don't remember all the days were, but yeah, your mom took the cigarette out of my mouth and took a hit off of it, and I'm like, okay, all right.
Did you know she had smoked then, or she wasn't really a smoker? You were a smoker.
Yeah, I think.
And you guys have been, hypothetically speaking, pretty much consistent. I know you had like a 2-year period or so, but of course, you guys don't smoke.
Yeah.
Link.
Then she was playing pool with us, and
that's not when I cracked you.
No. So as I was playing, I went up and.
Did I play grab ass?
you played grab ass and
sounds like a great game.
Pinch my butt and stuff like that, and I'm like, all right. I'm like,
I'm in.
I'm in. I am in. I am in.
Not yet, but posting up.
So it's time to leave, and we're going to our cars, and I go to. I lean in.
Put in bay.
I lean in to kiss her, right? Out there in the parking lot.
Denied.
And she just turns her head. And I'm like, oh my God, you fucking cunt.
And in all fairness, right, without going into too much, August 94, you were married then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. Where you go, Dad?
Yeah.
So.
All right. And then, you gloss over that. You guys are in the car. You get rejected. Rightfully colored. See you next Tuesday.
No, because that day, the next day, I was driving back. I think we drove at that time.
Yeah, because I think you had his Commissary or the Trans Am or whatever.
Yeah. So,
all right, and then so you guys have that moment, and then what time roughly is that? Is that 95 by this point?
No.
That's 94.
Still 94.
So 94, and then September of 94 comes around, and they were having some issues with the conveyor system. So, that time I think was me and Gamera.
I was going to say Commissary came out. And that's when you came to the house and we played some Uno.
This is when you wanted to set me up with your sister because it was Jay and you.
Okay, so this didn't come until you guys had already started like
a little flirtation.
Yeah, and some chemistry.
Yeah.
Would you say even on your side there's definitely
Again, I just
playing the long game.
And now I'm going to the house not expecting anything because I was shut down in the parking lot my last trip.
And what either of your parents know about this going on?
Nope.
Because I remember at one point hearing from like Poppa, his recalling that you were into Mom and she's pregnant and married.
The Senior Frogs was September. Gamera and I, this time the power's spiking and all that. That was right before Thanksgiving because I flew right into Memphis. Yes. So.
Yeah, but there was some time in between there too because.
Oh, no. That's right. Because, that's right. Because when I had gone back up in November, right? And there was a reason I went back in November.
I think it was me.
I think you caused something.
Or Bob knew I was missing you and brought you in because they wanted me to leave my ex.
Dude, I saved Bob's ass. I mean, me doing that for him, I mean, I saved his
Getting that pill dispenser up and going.
And they knew and they didn't like Eric.
Yeah, and no one liked Eric. Anyhow, but so Gamera and I go over to the house, we didn't have anything better to do, right? So she introduces me to Jay, and I'm like,
she's no mom. No.
Yeah. And so, Mom then, she wanted to give me a tour of the house, and so she.
Is that 2-bedroom?
Can you show me the bedroom? Yeah.
Well,
or the other bedroom?
Yeah. And she pulls me into the bedroom, and she gives me a kiss, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You can't toy with my emotions. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They do.
And then you were up for quite a bit in November before you went.
I was.
Because we visit the metro parks quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was in November.
Okay.
No, that was in November. Yeah, because I had an initial on my body.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
A hickey initial?
Uh-huh.
Nice. All right. So you guys have got it going
That's
on.
when you cracked me at the one.
Up in Brunswick, the bar up there.
Yeah. He took the.
I can't even remember Sherry was one, and there was one I think that started with a T.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can remember.
All I remember is that your mom took the pool stick, the cue stick.
And I meant just to tap him, and I
Love
swung
tapped
around
him.
and
Love tapped him.
crack.
Not holding it by the heavy side, but the tapered side, and she whacked me across the shin. Oh my God! It sent me.
What a flirt.
Yeah, like Jesus. Yeah. This is gonna be some rough love, But yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's not quite where I come along, but I think that's luckily, right? Anything pre Josh and I in the picture that you guys would like to wrap this part up with? I think this is kind of a good picking.
I think we're.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was in November
of
right?
'94,
was that
right?
Trip. That was where you brought me over.
You went to my dad's house because we were going somewhere, and I introduced you to my dad, but just as a friend from work.
Yeah.
Because
Friend from work.
PJ when he drank loose lips, and I'd already given Eric right before I met Dad
An ultimatum.
Was
that hypothetically speaking the cocaine related scenario?
It was a laziness all around.
All around, get your shit together or get out. Basically, I just can't be the sole supporter.
Yeah.
There needs to be
You have
two
some
people.
purpose and
yeah.
But that was when Grandma and Papa Jyl were separated too, right? And so going.
Wait, Grandma and Papa Jyl?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know they were separated.
Yeah. Yeah. And this was during her first bout with cancer.
Wow.
And
They got back together shortly after that was done.
And so going over to meet her mom, and obviously your mom knew. I guess you had talked to your mom, or she's
just
a
mom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The motherly instinct just.
She's not bringing this coworker home.
Right. Coworker, my ass.
Yeah.
Jeffrey.
That is so great. That is like she is here with us.
Yeah.
All right. And so, that's November of 94. And I mean, kind of spoiler alert, Josh comes around August 95. So, I guess picking up, this is kind of like the prequel of becoming the parents, the best parents that get 95% of it or more right. So this is the making of those parents. And then we'll pick up the next episode, those parents in practice.
I just will end by saying one thing.
Get the fuck out of my house.
Your grandparents.
Well, two things.
I mean, Papa Jyl, he loved you guys, and so did Papa Jim. But I mean, Grandma and Nonnie. I mean, they love. I mean, they loved their grandsons. They absolutely adored their grandsons.
And being the only grandchildren on both
Oh, wow.
sides
Yeah,
for
10
almost
years. Yeah,
10
very much.
years.
Yeah. And it was a little.
Oh no, I forgot about Jesse.
But again, predominantly as far as like 10 years from collectively all of them.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even around all that much.
Right. And despite her not, I think by being the only, right, the only child, only grandchild, she really did not know how to,
like what children wanted and how to be a children, interacting with other children, and siblings.
And she was bad with that as a mom too. I mean, she didn't understand the fighting.
It didn't take away from the amount of love that she had for you guys.
I would 100% agree with that. Well, yeah, and I think that's again part of the genius of your guys' parenting is like you guys really recognize it takes a village to raise a child and like really leaned into that. And again, maybe to some degree also like helps you guys recharge, a couple weeks or a few weeks at a time during the summers. But again, I think, those are some of the best experiences that looking back, and again, even granddaddy, and granny, like just having the ability to like meet multiple generations and given less impactful just meeting, granny and granddaddy, still great to see like where Poppa came from to some degree, where you were able to get from Poppa and, the foundation that you're able to provide us. So, yeah, in any case, we'll pick up sometime, call it next couple months or so. I'll wrangle you guys back for a round 2, hopefully, maybe. Pretty pleased.
All right.
Well,
all right.
Thank you all. That's it.
Clean up.
Yeah. And get the fuck out. Yeah. Cliche handshake, and then we'll do the special mother-son thumb kiss at the end to close it out. Thanks for watching.